Blog Talk Radio.
Season 7, debate talk for you. GMG, seek truth. Listen, I'm on a get knowledge mission. Debate talk for you is a Great Lake decision. You know a war got a blaze in the kitchen. If the seat too hot, don't try to sit in. We touch topics to bless you, yes. And plus we gotta line up a special guest. You heard about Josh, he the champion. Absolute Bible truth is the champion. Can't forget Zadok, the brother always stay hot. And the KOJ is like a rank on top. Shout out Amuna. Relationship issues gonna have to get dealt with either later or sooner. Live on air, when Sal hit the button, it ain't no front, you better ride prepared. Put it out, look at how hard you went. Can the other side handle your argument? When the question pops, now is your chance to respond. Don't dodge like why is it 6? Waiting for the answer, like 1996 in the NBA draft when AI was the pick. Man in the mirror, wake up, use your head. It's not a hat rack, begin a new era. Shows like this be few to none. And where we come from, speak the Hebrew tongue. Take down notes, the audience votes, and then check back in to see who won. Debate talk for you, for you, debate talk for you, 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 for you.
That's our popular demand. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Debate Talk for You. I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and welcome back to the show live. I appreciate everybody out there that's been supporting the show over the years, and we want to have your continued support by going to www.paypal.com and use the email debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. We need your support in order for us to have the show available to the masses each and every month because, of course, we have monthly fees in order for the show to remain on the air. So once again, we appreciate the support out there, people. Again, if you want to show your support, go to www.paypal.com and use the email debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. So if you love what you hear, you love the content, you love the segments, and the special guests that come on the show, please keep us on the air. We love you guys. Again, show your support. You know the email. One love.
What it do, people? It's your boy B. Lit Dive, and I'm chilling over here with my man, Sal Showtime, man. And I'm just here to let y'all know that there's only one place that you need to go to hear the word from the word, man. And that's at Debate Talk for You, man. I'm going to slow it down, man, because a lot of people slow. I speak fast because I'm from New York, but, I'm going to slow it down, man. That's Debate Talk for You, hosted by my man, Sal Showtime. You dig? Keep it tuned, man. You already know what it is.
Yo, what up? It's your boy K for H, representing East New York, Brooklyn. I'm in the building with my man Sal Showtime. He holding it down with the Debate Talk for You radio. Tune in every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, check out that late nights and early morning mixtape and that Black Hoodie-ish mixtape. It's your boy K for H, and you're now listening to Debate Talk for You radio. Certified, stamped it, approved it.
What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is Brother Stanley Sylvain of Sin No More Ministries. I'm letting you know that every time I'm not putting together some lessons to bless the people out there, I am definitely listening to Sal Showtime and Debate Talk for You. God bless you all. Peace.
You don't want to miss checking out the most controversial video of the year. Everybody's talking about it. A video produced by Absolute Bible Truth teacher, Brother Josh. The video is entitled, Is There a Secret Gay Agenda Amongst the Comedic Conscious Groups? Once again, it's one of the most talked about videos right now, and you want to make sure you go check it out. So go to the website, www.absolutebibletruth.com. ABTMinistries.com/store. And once you get it, it's an automatic download. You don't have to wait for it to be sent to you in the mail. It's an automatic download. So once again, go check out the video, get it fast, and get it now.
Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Robert, a.k.a. Pastor Nobody, from the Fountain of Israel Bible Studies class. You can find us on thefountainofisrael.com or use the search box on YouTube and type in Fountain of Israel. You can also email us at foibiblestudies@inbox.com. Again, that is foibiblestudies@inbox.com. We believe the whole Bible is the truth and relevant to our lives today. Join us weekly as we feed the flock with the uncut word of God. Matthew 4:4 says, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." So until next time, this is Pastor Nobody. Search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
This is Renald Francoeur representing from Atlanta, Georgia. And when I'm not busy in the studio, I'm checking out Debate Talk for You Radio. Keep up the great work, Sal Showtime.
Hey, what's going on, family? How you guys doing? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 7 of Debate Talk for You Radio. I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and we are back with another classic show for you guys. I see the people already calling in as usual. And shout out to those people that call in 10 minutes ahead of time, just waiting for the Debate Talk for You to come on the air. Much love to the listeners out there that's calling in via phone and via Skype. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Of course, everybody on social media land, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that's checking out the show, sharing the link on their personal page, or checking it out inside a Facebook group. We appreciate you guys tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio. And, of course, the international listeners out there that's in a different time zone checking out the show, some early morning, some very late at night. We appreciate the people out there that's tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio live. Today's show is entitled The Fables of the Council of Nicaea Exposed. Once again, today's show is entitled The Fables of Council of Nicaea Exposed. So we're going to have another classic show for you guys. And we have the assistant teachers of Absolute Bible Truth here live tonight on Debate Talk for You Radio, presenting this lesson to the masses out there. And by the way, of course, tomorrow, just a reminder for those who don't know, for those of you that's been hiding behind a rock, you have a big debate that's going on live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time between head teacher of Absolute Bible Truth, Brother Josh, and the preterist William Bell. It's going to go down tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All Bible prophecies fulfilled. You don't want to miss that debate. Make sure you tune in. Tell a friend. Share it on your personal page. And remember, you can call in live with your questions, your comments today and tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, the number is 319-527-6239. So let me introduce my special guests. Well, like I said, they're assistant teachers for Absolute Bible Truth. You can check out some of their classes live and only live on Blog Talk Radio. Just go to the website, www.blogtalkradio.com/Absolute Bible Truth. I'll have the gentlemen relay the time for the program for the audience out there, for those who want to check it out live. The only way to get the archives is by going to the website. You got to go to www.absolutebibletruth.com/store. Once again, that's absolutebibletruth.com/store. You can check out the archives. You can also buy some video content from Brother Josh and Absolute Bible Truth. Once again, you can check out the YouTube channel, Truth Teacher 3010. That's Truth Teacher 3010. Let me introduce the fellas. This is LaVar. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Brother Sal, how you doing? Peace to all my brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus. Peace to all my ABT family. Peace to all the members out there listening of the Debate Talk for You audience. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show. It's been a while. Last time I was on the show was like sometime in the summer. I had a debate with a comedic gentleman, and I thought the debate was all right. But, you know, I think that a lot of times we get sidetracked with things like that. And although I might not agree with some of the other brothers who call themselves Christians, like I call myself, as well as Absolute Bible Truth, but there are certain things that we can always fight on, you know, the observance of Torah, so on and so forth. But there are things that we do have in common, and I want to highlight those things that actually glue us together as believers in the Most High God of Israel and His Son, Jesus Christ. So this class today is to help people understand that Absolute Bible Truth is all about love. And even though we might disagree with certain brethren, I still consider these guys my brothers in Christ. And a lot of people are lying to a lot of babies in Christ and getting them cut off and making them denounce their faith. So with all that said, I hope everybody is edified, Brother Sal. Thank you.
All right, that's Brother LaVar right there. Once again, assistant teacher for Absolute Bible Truth. And the next assistant teacher is my brother Antwan Harris. Welcome to the show, my brother. Appreciate you being here.
What's going on, Sal? What's going on, LaVar? Good evening, Debate Talk for you audience, everybody listening around the world. Honor and a pleasure, as always, to be on the show. This has been even longer for me that I've been on the show. But, of course, you know, I tune in some of those, you know, the big-time debates and topics and still following the show. You know, always going to be a fan. Just honor and a privilege to be back on with my brother again, bringing forth a lesson. A lot of people have been asking, like, you know, when you and LaVar going to do something else? And this was a topic that, you know, LaVar really wanted to hit on. He felt that was very important. And I've actually had dealings with people on this particular topic, some of the misnomers concerning the Council of Nicaea, some of the things that are being taught. And, you know, Brother LaVar just, you know, came up with the idea, like, you know, let's just start dispelling some of these things for the babes in Christ. And, you know, I couldn't be in more agreements with him on this topic. So I really look forward to it, and I hope tonight that someone is edified from it, and we can bring out some good truth.
All right, so we're going to get started. Once again, like I always say, get your pen and pads ready. Take down your notes. And always study the information that you hear on Debate Talk for You Radio. Before we begin, though, of course, let the people know as far as the live classes that go down on Shabbat. Let them know what time the classes begin, things of that nature, some details, anything that I forgot to mention about ABT. Go to LaVar.
Yeah, thanks, Brother Sal. We have a blog talk show ourselves, of course, with Brother Josh as our head teacher, along with Brother David, many other brothers. Our ministry done grew, but you can catch us every single Saturday. Since it's daylight saving time, we've been starting a little bit earlier, but in between 4:30 and 5:30, we've been starting, and it's every single Saturday. Just dial the number 319-527-6197, and, you know, we be feasting every single week. And it's a topic every week. We've been hitting on political arena basically lately because of this whole Hillary versus Trump thing, and we're just trying to get believers to understand that politics and religion go hand in hand. So we've been hitting real heavy on that. And also this particular teaching that we're going to be doing today kind of ties in with that because, again, we're going to be talking about Emperor Constantine and the Council of Nicaea and all the lies. We're going to dispel a lot of this stuff. And with all that said, that's about it right there. So unless Brother Antwan want to add anything else on top of that.
No, I think you got it all, brother.
Take it away, Brother Sal.
Okay, yeah, I had some microphone issues just now. All right, so let's get it started, people. Let's get it started. Again, remember, you can call in with your questions and comments. So, again, you know that number, 319-527-6239. If you have a question, press 1, and we'll add you in later on. By the way, the chat room is officially open for those that are shy. I just want to type in your question real quick. Go to blogtalkradio.com /debate talk for you. Click on the show, and then you can type in your question, and I'll read it out to my special guest, or send me an email at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. Antwan, LaVar, take it away.
Thanks, Brother Sal. And again, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. You could have been doing anything else. I want to give all praise and credence to the Most High God of Israel and His Son, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua HaMashiach, for all those who like to talk on Hebrew things. We decided to do this class in particular because, for number one, this is the political season, and we're going to be dealing with a political topic during early church history. And a lot of people have said a lot of things about this particular council in history. Now, if anybody has been following ABT for a while, you guys know that we're pretty much versatile in what we bring out. I noticed a lot of brothers want to come on this show and pretty much, bombard this show with the same topics. And that's okay because obviously, he's going to have new listeners coming in and they might not have heard certain debates, certain topics. But for me, I kind of want to, take things into another direction. And I don't think anybody else has taught on this. If they have, then I don't know. I haven't been looking. But I wanted to bring this out because, this is one of those topics where if you're on YouTube, if you're on social media, if you're on Facebook, you might hear people say some things that don't sit well with you if you're a Christian. Now, I'm a Christian. Absolute Bible Truth are Christians. My brother Antwan, he's a Christian. And a lot of people take issue with that particular word or title. I don't have a problem with it because it just simply means follower of Christ. I follow the Messiah that was prophesied in the Old Testament, if you will. So I have no problem with the title. The problem is a lot of people don't want to use that title because what Christianity has become today. And I completely understand that. You can call us Messianic, spiritual Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? I don't really get too caught up in titles because we're not limited. If you tell somebody you're a Christian, they might, think that you don't believe in keeping the Most High's commandments, so on and so forth. But this is a Christian issue. This is an in-house issue. This is a Messianic issue. And for all my people that do believe in the Messiah, I'm quite sure you've heard something about a council of Nicaea. You might have heard. Well, you know what? Go ahead, Antwan. You tell the people what you might have heard about the council of Nicaea.
All right. Well, bro, there are a lot of things that people are saying about this particular council. I know a lot of people have seen that movie Zeitgeist, the documentary that was on YouTube years and years ago. They spoke of the council of Nicaea. And there are many, various websites all over the internet, all over the web that are, making claims concerning the Council of Nicaea. So when I started my spiritual journey years and years ago, I ran across some of these things and I saw, okay, well, dang, they're saying this happened. And it's really spread like wildfire to the point where you get on social media and you go on to YouTube and you see people who are claiming to be teachers of the word and teaching stuff, and you got people who also atheists kicking against it, saying all of this stuff was created at the Council of Nicaea. I've heard that they created Jesus himself, just him as a man. They created that at the Council of Nicaea. I also heard that they created the name. I had a brother on YouTube tell me they created the name Jesus in 325 when that wasn't even the English language then. But he's on YouTube telling people they created the name Jesus in 325 AD. You also have other things about that's when they decided on the canon, and which really had nothing to do with canon. It had to do with the rules. That term canon in those times, that's what it meant. It had nothing to do with the Old Testament, the New Testament. And we have all of these sources showing these things. It had nothing to do with it. They had already had a canon before then that was in circulation before 325. There was just a lot of claims that people are making about it. That's when they came up with the virgin birth concept. That's when they came up with
the whole story of Jesus, the Immaculate Conception. All of this stuff came during 325, and those are many. I mean, those are most of them. I would say most of the claims that people are making. And tonight we're just gonna go and show what exactly happened, who was there, what they were doing there, what was the purpose of it. Why was this thing called, and what was on the agenda, what came about from this meeting, and that would dispel everything else using legitimate sources. A problem that a lot of people probably know that is now we have an issue with the scholarship that goes on in some of these communities, these conscious communities, conscious groups, these church organizations, these sacred name groups. Excuse me. And the problem is they have poor scholarship, and all you have to do is just crack open the book. Guys are making claims, people are using this, using that, and all you got to do is just open up a history book, and they'll tell you exactly. And we're going to show from multiple sources tonight exactly what happened, what went down, and what all went on. But those are some of the claims, Brother LaVar, that people are saying. They're saying that they created a virgin birth, or we created Jesus at that time. There wasn't no such thing as or Yeshua at that time. There was no Yeshua. There was not even a person walked earth that was that name. That was that character, as they would say. He was not even existing until 325 A.D. So, but those are some of the claims that they make.
Yeah. I think that we need to take this thing step by step. Like Brother Antwan said, we're going to offer multiple sources. We're not going to go to one type of encyclopedia, one dictionary. We're going to do multiple dictionaries, multiple encyclopedias, and multiple historical sources. So the first thing I want to do, I want to go to the HarperCollins Encyclopedia of Catholicism. Now, see, what people don't understand, this is actually a Catholic issue. The Council of Nicaea was a Catholic issue. I'm going to throw out some words, and I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. Have you ever heard of the word Trinity before? I'm quite sure you heard of the word Trinity before. Have you guys ever heard of the word, besides a Trinity, I just lost my train of thought just that fast. Easter. Have you ever heard the word Easter before? I know you heard the word or name Constantine before. Have you ever heard of Sunday worship before? These things are key components to understanding the Council of Nicaea. And also the selection of bishops is very important to understand and note during this teaching. Now I'm going to go to the HarperCollins Encyclopedia of Catholicism by Richard P. McBrien, General Editor. And I'm going to look up the word Nicaea, Council of Nicaea, and it says Nicaea, first council of the First Universal Council of the Church. It met from late May until August AD 325 in the city of Nicaea, located in modern-day Turkey, and defined Orthodox Trinitarian belief. I'm going to repeat that again. It says, and it defined Orthodox Trinitarian belief. Keep that in mind. That's why they convened. It says the council was convened by the Emperor Constantine to resolve several controversies, the chief of which was the controversy created by priest Arius. Keep in mind priest Arius, because he is one of the main key components to understanding what was going on in the 4th century concerning the Trinitarian doctrine. And it says, Arius taught that the Son is not God in the same way as the Father is God. To be divine means, above all, to be unoriginated or to have no origin. So basically, in a nutshell, this priest taught that Jesus was not divine because he originated from the Father. And in his thought process, if you're divine, you would have to have no origin. Now it says, although the Son exceeds all other creatures in perfection, nevertheless, the Son has the status of a creature in relation to the Father. So I'm going to stop right there. And what I want Brother Antwan to do is go to a whole nother source other than the HarperCollins Encyclopedia of Catholicism. And when you study history, all my brothers and sisters need to understand this. If it's not consistent, then something is wrong. Because when you study history, if somebody has something else to say other than what everybody else is saying, they're lying. And I'm going to read some lies verbatim off the internet that you're going to find on the internet and maybe on Facebook or anywhere else. But, Brother Antwan, if you're real, go ahead on and read what you got concerning the Council of Nicaea. Hey, Sal, are you there?
Hello, we're here.
You here?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. This is the World Book. I'm sorry, I had to mute it. This is the World Book Encyclopedia. Book 3 is from the 1998 edition. And I'm going to start from this source right here. This is on page 525. And this is under the Christianity section. It basically, in this World Book Encyclopedia, anybody who's familiar with encyclopedias, you can go to a specific name or topic, and it'll give you the rundown of the history of it. So this is under the title of Christianity, and it's a subtitle called The Spread of Christianity. Now, it's very important to notice because Constantine was a convert. In fact, he got baptized on his deathbed, but he was a quote-unquote Christian convert. He actually was a strong sun worshiper. That's what he was. He was a pagan, just like most of the world had always been worshiping the sun, and that's what he was. But I'm going to read the history, the small brief history of him and the spread of Christianity, and it leads right up to 325 AD. So here we go. And it also dispels something else. If Christianity is going on before 325 and people are talking about Jesus well before 325, how in the world can we get to 325 and you say that's when they made him up? That's impossible. There's too many sources, too many references that predate 325, hundreds of years before that. Okay, so this is the spread of Christianity. It's page 525 of the World Book Encyclopedia, Book 3. It says the early church. At first, the Roman government considered Christianity a legal Jewish sect. However, beginning in AD 64 and continuing for the next 250 years, various Roman emperors persecuted the followers of Christianity. Rather than weakening the young religion, persecution strengthened it. Persecution gave believers of Christianity an opportunity to prove their faith by dying for it. The Roman Emperor Constantine the Great gave Christians freedom of worship in 313. He called the first General Church Council in 325 to make doctrine uniform throughout the empire. The council adopted a statement known as the Nicene Creed, which said that Jesus Christ was the same substance as God. The council condemned Arianism, same thing Brother LaVar just read about Arianism, a belief that Jesus was not completely divine. By 392, Christianity had become the official religion of the Roman Empire. The church then grew more involved in worldly affairs and protests. Some believers adopted a way of life known as monasticism. That's when you basically you don't do anything in your regular day life. You go and you pray and you meditate all day. That's all you do all day. You don't work and all that stuff. A lot of people were doing that during those times. But that's just one source just saying that basically the whole purpose of this whole thing was to try to get the doctrine uniform.
Right.
The problem when Constantine, when they legalized, and it wasn't just Christianity, that's another thing. During that time, they were going to they basically made like a freedom of religion during 313. That's what was going on. He made a freedom of religion, And Christianity had been building up so much steam. And you got to understand, from the first century on up until this point, Christianity had been building steam. And although these people, these Christians, were getting persecuted, Christianity was still getting strong. I just read it in the source that the persecution gave believers of Christianity an opportunity to prove their faith by dying for it. And also, we knew that the saints were going to be persecuted. Probably reading our New Testament, we knew that those things happened, and this is history showing that this stuff happened, right? And so, with this all this going on, Christianity was growing. It was building steam. It was kind of like, man, they said, oh, this was going to happen. It's happening. This, that, and other. And then it's just growing. And it was going. We were reading in the book of Acts how the word had spread, all across the world. And it was building strength. And it was a perfect opportunity for, Constantine being like, and it's one thing you can never take away from a lot of these people who were world rulers. They had people that they sought counsel with. They sought ways. It's like, oh, how can we make this better? How can we push this together, get this right? So what Constantine did, and I can read from another source, is when they had the thing, he's like, I want to get this all together so we can make the doctrine more uniform. So he called bishops from, I think he requested over 1,000 bishops to come to the council. Many, depending on who you listen, you go to Eusebius. There are different scholars, historical scholars, that give different amount of bishops who actually showed up. It ranges from anywhere from 250 to all the way up to like 350. It just depends.
We're going to read that right now.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, bring it.
Yeah, we're going to read that right now. You make a good point. You have to understand that Constantine was a neophyte. He was new to this. Although he had converted, you got to understand, like the brother was saying, Christianity was a powerhouse in Rome. It was spreading. Yep. No matter how many people got killed, it just kept growing. So eventually, in 313, what happened was Constantine made the religion legal. He stopped the persecution. But after you had people like Eusebius and these other brothers we're going to read about who had a difference of opinion in doctrine. So I'm going to continue on from where I left off, and it says the estimates of the number of bishops who attended the council range from 228 to 318. Among those in attendance was D. Athanasius, the future bishop of Alexandria, Egypt, and leading anti-Arian spokesperson. So this guy was at the forefront against Arius' teaching that Jesus was not divine. So you had Arius saying Jesus is not divine, and you had Athanasius saying yes, he was. This was a big conflict going on back there, and people don't understand. Back then, when it wasn't like debate talk for you brothers get on here and argue and debate. Back then, you get exiled, beat down. People don't understand how serious it was back then. This had nothing to do with, fusing a whole bunch of gods together to come up with the man Jesus Christ. People who are saying that, they're just flat out liars. But let me continue on. It says, knowledge of the proceedings comes from later writings of 3 conciliar participants, Eustathius of Antioch, Athanasius himself, and Eusebius of Caesarea. Now, Eusebius was a historian, and what Eusebius did was he recorded the events that actually happened. So if people are telling you guys something happened at the Council of Nicaea, y'all need to understand you have a record of what happened. Eusebius wrote about it. And we're going to read what Eusebius wrote about it. So it goes on to say, to make its opposition to Arianism explicit, the council formulated a creed, just like Antwan just read, this Nicene Creed. It formulated a creed containing expressly anti-Arian elements. So it had things written in this creed that was anti-Jesus is not divine sayings in it. Because this council was put together because you had 2 opposing sides. One side, led by Arius, who said Jesus was not divine. They all believed in the Trinity, but they was trying to get the doctrine right. Us at Absolute Bible Truth don't believe in no Trinity, but this ain't about what we believe. This is about what they believed and why they were there and what was set up, right? So specifically, the council in the creed declared the Son from the substance of the Father and begotten, not made, of one substance with the Father. The Greek term is homousios. With the phrase, and especially with the term homousios, the council stipulated the proper interpretation of the Son's divinity. The Son is truly God, just as the Father is truly God. See, Arius didn't believe that. See, Arius believed that since Christ had an origin, which was from the Father, that he was not fully divine. This guy, Athanasius, was like, no, you tripping. Because they had the New Testament. They had the 4 Gospels. We can prove that. So what I'm saying, you guys, is you got to understand this was not the only controversy. It goes on to read. In addition to the Arian controversy, the council decided against the practice of celebrating Easter on the date of the Jewish Passover, as was the custom of certain Eastern churches. See, y'all got to understand, this whole thing about Easter and why we celebrate it, well, not why we, but the majority of Christians today celebrate it, it's because of the Council of Nicaea deemed it that way. So I'm going to go on to talk about what else they talked about. They set up 20 rules resolving questions of specific church practices were also being talked about in past. 3 rules were outlined for selection of procedures for future bishops, like I said before. This is why they came together, to figure out a date for Easter, to figure out the doctrine of the Trinity, and they set up rules to outline procedures for selecting bishops. Why? Because there was a bishop at that time named Miletus who had ordained bishops without consulting his fellow bishops in authority. Go ahead, brother.
Right, and that's where the part where it comes in with the canon. That's where people got to dig and really do your research, because somebody can come and tell you that they got the 20 they came up with 20 canons right there in 325. But like LaVar just said, no, that wasn't talking about. It was the rules. That's what they were talking about. Their church order, how they're gonna conduct. Because Constantine, historically, when he was there, and you can read about this in Eusebius, you can read about it in other historians. Constantine kind of had his grand entrance, walked on in there. He sat back, kicked his feet up, and said, boom, we need to get this right. Y'all need to figure this out. Boom, y'all have at it. And Constantine actually put them in front of him to tell them, look, y'all figure this out. Y'all come up with, how we going to do this thing. But it needs to be organized. It needs to be done right. If we're going to do it, we're going to have to do it right. And that's what Constantine wanted. He knew that in order to have the power that he wanted and the power that, with the growing religion, he had to get down with it. And make sure it's done right. You know what I'm saying? That's how any world power thinks. That's what they're going to do. So, like LaVar was saying, like when it goes to those 20 rules, or 20, sometimes it reads 20 canons. I'm gonna read this source right here. This is from where is this from? I'm gonna get y'all this source because we're gonna give y'all sources. Trust me. All right, this is from the seven general councils by Leo Donald Davis. This is written in 1983. All right, it's the first 7 general councils. All right, and this is on page 66 through page 63. But it basically goes on, and this is the wording that he uses in here. But he understands what this word means, and if you read it, then you'll understand. It says this basically going over the agenda, because he outlined the agenda for the Council of Nicaea, what was going on. And like LaVar already read, the number 1 topic on the agenda was the Arian question regarding the relationship between God the Father and God the Son. That was the main issue of the whole entire thing, the divinity of Christ. That was the major issue. The number 2 issue of the whole thing was Easter and the day of when to celebrate Easter, Passover, what was going on. Because like LaVar said, and I'm going to read that a little bit later. I'll go into detail about the whole thing to break it down for y'all. But that was another thing on it. Then you had sub things that were going on, too, that they were trying to get order on. And another one was the 20 rules. The 20 rules, what they were going to go on. And you had the organization of the church structure, how they would deal with heretics, basically, the clergy, all of this stuff. All of that was how they were going to do, like with the bishop, how they were going to go about electing and everything. And it's funny, too, because Eusebius wrote that, Constantine wore like this big purple and gold like robe thing. He was all dressed all elegant with jewels and all of this stuff. And I think, man, that's how the Pope dressed right now. He got his purple and he got on all his purple. But like you said, that's exactly what happened. Now notice, pay attention, Debate Talk for you audience. Notice, we ain't heard nothing about they created no name. We ain't heard nothing about they made up a man named Jesus. No, nothing about they done made up some immaculate conception concerning him. They ain't made up nothing about no virgin birth concerning him. None of that stuff has come up. Pay attention to this. None of this stuff has come up yet. All these arguments that they make of what happened and all this stuff, none of it has come up yet. Oh, I even heard another one, bro. That's when they came up with the heaven and hell doctrine. When you die, you go to heaven and hell. That's that old Greek mythology. And when you die, you go to heaven. You ain't heard nothing about that yet. None of that stuff is on this agenda, on this docket. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that everything is being consistent and everything is lining up. Notice we're reading from different sources. We didn't bring one source to the table, and we got plenty more. Trust me. If I was to actually read every source that I found, particularly on the Council of Nicaea, y'all would actually get pretty bored and upset for me repeating myself. So I really narrowed it down to 3 or 4 because it says the same thing no matter where you go. But what I want to do is I want to flip the script real quick, if you don't mind, bro. And I want to read this website, right? I want to read this website for you guys, and I want you to understand that when you see stuff like this on the internet, you have to dismiss it right away, simply because it's not historically taught in any academic institution by any credible scholar, secular or religious. None of them will hold this stuff up as pure history. Now, check this out. This is, I'm quite sure you guys have read this before. It's called The Forged Origins of the New Testament. The Forged Origins of the New Testament by Tony Bushby. Now, I've noticed some of our brethren have put the New Testament down. They want to be Tanakh-based. That's fine and dandy, but the problem is when you come on here and you start spewing stuff out about the Council of Nicaea without doing your due diligence, you look stupid because the things that you're saying cannot be backed by any history, secular or religious at all. This is one particular part that's in here. And I'm going to read, first of all, let's read the heading of I'm going to scroll down, and I'm looking at this, and it just, it's the first thing, it just blows my mind because people don't pay attention when they read. It says, check this out, it says, the First Council of Nicaea and this is in quotations, y'all, in quotations, missing records. Whoa, you got to stop right there because, see, when you read history, all of a sudden, people get on the internet, and then you have all these libraries of information coming down to you in books, and this is just a generation that don't like to read and go to the library no more. But you get on the internet, right? You have all these libraries of information saying the same thing like me and the brother is talking about, but then you'll come on the internet, and you'll read something like this. Well, this is my first question I come in mind, like, okay, number one, how come I've not read none of this in any of the earlier sources by Eusebius himself? Because we can read Eusebius and what he said, he was there, right? How come he never talks about these quote-unquote missing records, okay? This stuff right here is what I cannot stand about social media. I love social media, but I hate it at the same time. You know why? Because you'll get an idiot that will jump on Facebook and be a daggone keyboard king and copy and paste. And I'm like, dude, where are you getting this from? I got it from some website. You got it from some website. Now, this is amazing. This article I'm actually reading, right, this was extracted from Nexus Magazine back in July of 2007, right? Now, I'm trying to figure out, and this is in Australia, by the way. This magazine is based out in Australia. I'm trying to figure out how all of a sudden whoever posted this, how did they get the missing records? Where did they get them from? Who translated these records? You guys do understand these records have to be translated. They were not speaking English back then. They were a Greco-Roman people. So you have to ask yourself these questions. Like I said, we can read writings that was translated from the actual people that were there. Eusebius wrote about this stuff, and Eusebius wrote about it. He was a historian. But whoever put this on this website, and this is not the only place I've seen this, the missing records, are you kidding me? You guys got to understand, when you start seeing stuff like that, it's a red flag. Because you're not saying where you got this stuff from. you got to understand, we live in an age where anybody can make a website and put anything there. And believe it or not, a lot of people are losing their faith because of stuff like this. Because let's just keep it real. A lot of us is lazy. I'm a nerd. I'm not going to lie. When I was in high school, my favorite subject was history. So I was a history buff. And what I like to do is I like to know the origin of things. Where did this come from? Let's go back and read this. People don't want to read no more. They too busy on social media. They're keyboard bandits, copying and pasting, going to websites that have absolutely no credibility, and putting this stuff out here. You know, Ray Hagins, he got a class on YouTube teaching about the Council of Nicaea. Ain't cited nothing. I heard Anchor Cat say something about the Council of Nicaea. Ain't cited nothing. Lying. Jesus was birthed there. Cyrus said he did the same thing some years back.
So did what's the kid name? The young cat.
Who you talking about?
Couldn't even pronounce Nicaea. Young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh. Yeah, said the same thing. The same regurgitated stuff. These crazy claims, unfounded with no sources.
What's so crazy about it is, y'all are not paying attention who you're talking to either. These guys are anti-Christ. They do not believe in the Messiah. You guys, this ain't nothing new. People have always hated Christians. You can read the history about what Nero did to Christians. We can read some of that stuff to you guys. There was a fire set in the city back in the day, and he blamed it on Christians. It burned for a whole week, and the citizens was like, this is something he did. We know he's crazy. What did he do? Blame it on Christians. Christians end up getting killed. Throwing Christians in the Coliseum. Y'all can read this stuff if y'all just stop being lazy and pick up a book. But anyway, I'm going to read a little bit of this because it just drives me crazy when I read it. But it says, it was that purely assembly and with so many cults represented that a total of 318 bishops, priests, deacons, subdeacons, acolytes, and exorcists gathered to debate and decide upon a unified belief system that encompassed only one God. By this time, a huge assortment of wild texts circulated amongst the priests, and they supported a great variety of Eastern and Western gods. The goddess and goddesses, it says Jupiter, Selena, Baal, Thor, Gade, Apollo, Juno, Aries, Taurus, Minerva, Rex, Mithra, Theo, so on and so forth, right? And so one of the arguments is basically saying here is that a lot of these names, not specifically here, but it's another part of this article that says a bunch of these gods, Hessus and Krishna, these two gods were formed Jesus Christ. And the sad part about this is that there is no historical documentation that will say anything of this sort. We already know Jesus Christ is an English expression. It has nothing to do with any of that type of stuff. That's all it is a transliteration of a transliteration of a transliteration. Anybody that went to school and didn't skip English class knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I want to get off that real quick, and let's actually read again from, like, credible sources about the Emperor Constantine. If you will, bro, if you have anything else on Constantine, feel free to read. If you don't, I got some more stuff I'd like to bring out.
Yeah, here we go. And it's very important to understand, because a lot of people talk about Constantine, and we'll give them credit about certain things. They'll sit there and say, Jesus came from Horus and all of this stuff, and it was all done and the Council of Nicaea, they got everything from Egypt, and they stole all our stuff, and then they created this stuff when they all met together. That's not what happened. Go actually read that. Say that's another problem. Excuse me. That's another problem that we're having. People within certain faiths or certain belief systems aren't reading their own material, and it's a problem. And we're having to spend time exposing that. So, like, look, you telling me this, but your book don't even say that. You telling me Jesus come from Horus, where Jesus wasn't born like that. This didn't happen to Jesus. This situation right here is nothing like it. But they just trying to merge everything together to try to, as LaVar said, make you anti-Christ like them. So you can't read any of this stuff in any legitimate source. It's just pseudo websites, pseudo guys talking, no guys with no scholars, no credentials, no archaeological evidence from anything from the Middle East that says anything remotely close to many of these claims. But it is important that we know these people who participated in these events. And, you know, the big guy at the time, he was the ruler of the world, like basically like the equivalent of the president of the United States. But, you know, he was basically ruling over everything, was Constantine during this time. So here is from the World Book Encyclopedia. This is book 4 from 1998 edition. I have a whole encyclopedia that was actually given to me. It was a blessing. I'm so thankful that I got it. I actually got it later on in life. It was one of the biggest tools I could ever have. And if anybody has an encyclopedia, you know they're very expensive. I thank God I didn't have to pay for it. It was a gift. And it has been truly a blessing. But you guys, you really got to get yourself some legitimate sources, or else you're going off in the left field. But here, book 4, this is on page 993. All right, World Book Encyclopedia, under Constantine the Great. All right, Constantine the Great was the first emperor of Rome to become a Christian. He is also known as Constantine the First. He was born about AD 275 and died in 337. During his reign, Christians regained freedom of worship, and the Christian church became legal. The Eastern Orthodox churches regard Constantine as a saint. He rebuilt Byzantine, now Istanbul, Turkey, renamed it Constantinople, and made it his capital city. He shifted the Roman Empire's strength from Rome to the eastern provinces and thus laid the foundation of the Byzantine Empire. Constantine made many gifts to the Christian church. He built the first great Christian cathedral, the Lateran Basilica in Rome. He built other famous churches in and near Rome, and in Antioch, Syria, now Antioch, Turkey, Constantinople, and Jerusalem. Constantine's official name was Flavius Valerius Aurelius Constantinus. He was born in Nicea, now Nice. His father, Constantinius, became emperor of Western provinces in 305. Constantius died in 306, and his army proclaimed Constantine his successor. The system of shared rule between 2 senior and 2 junior emperors started by Emperor Diocletian in 293, and you guys should also look up Diocletian and who he was, broke down completely. 7 claimants struggled for power. In 312, Constantine attacks Maxentius, his major rival in the West. Constantine later told how a vision before the battle he had promised him victory if he fought under the sign of the cross. In another story, he ordered the first 2 letters of Christ's name in Greek to be marked on his soldiers' shields. With these marks, Constantine's forces defeated Maxentius and the Milvian bridge on the Tiber River. As a result of his victory, Constantine became a strong supporter of Christianity. But the Ark of Constantine, a pagan monument constructed in Rome about 315, also honors his victory. And 3, now granted, all the time that this stuff is going on, they're saying that he's getting all this vision. All the time, Constantine is not a full-blown Christian. He is still fully into his whole sun worship and sun god worship. And it's actually this ark and all of these things that he built, you can see the heavily influenced pagan beliefs that he had. Okay? Just look up any of the Constantine structures. All right, the last 2 paragraphs says in 313, Constantine arranged a partnership with Emperor Licinius, ruler of the eastern provinces. They met in Milan and gave freedom of worship and equal rights to all religious groups. Constantine recognized the Christian church as a legal body with rights to hold property and return property that had been seized to Christians. Notice, before this is all before 325, so you can't say that's when they created Christianity. They're already talking about Christians and Christianity well before this has even happened yet, all right? Okay, it says Constantine recognized the Christian church as a legal body with rights to hold property and return property that had been seized to Christians. Because remember, during they were persecuted, everything you had to basically denounce that you was a Christian. Now they're taking everything, they were killing them, everything when they were going through their persecution. So a lot of stuff got taken from them and everything, but Constantine restored that stuff back to them, right? So it says, for more than 10 years, Constantine and Licinius divided the empire. In 324, their rivalry resulted in a warfare and a victory by Constantine. So you had Constantine on his side of the western provinces, you had Licinius on the eastern provinces, and basically it was divided. And they came to a head, and they had a fight, boom, warfare, Constantine won, right? Says who then became sole ruler. Constantine made Constantinople his capital and the center of Roman government. Now here it is. In 325, Constantine presided over the first great general council of the Christian church. The council met in Nicaea, in what is now northwest Turkey, to deal with disputes among Christians, especially, and here we go again, especially with the Arian heresy, which considered Christ to have been of a different substance from God. More than 300 bishops from all parts of the empire attended. The council condemned Arianism, and a part of, if you know, historically, you do some more research on this, you had bishops coming from all over the place. You had bishops coming from parts of Europe. You had them coming from the Middle East. You had them coming from closer to the Asian side. And then you also had bishops coming from where, LaVar? Just guess. What continent? What continent that they said? Exactly. You had bishops from Africa there too. They were there. Bishops were called there from Africa. All right, so that's for them people that just sitting there telling us, oh, man, you got this from the Europeans. The Europeans gave you this. Oh, really? Well, even if you're saying we got all of this stuff from the Europeans, tell me why Africans were there too.
Well, hold on, bro. While we on the subject of Africans being at this council in Nicaea, ones who from Egypt at that particular time, let's talk about Arius, the guy who brought this doctrine forth. And by the way, y'all, Arius ain't come up with this on his own. I can read for you where he got it from. But we're going to deal with Arius now because we heard about Constantine. If I honestly read what I got about Constantine, it says the exact same thing you was just reading.
Yep.
He warred against Licinius, who was the leader of the East. He unified the East and West, and he made Christian legal. That's pretty much what you were saying. And again, Christianity was spreading so much that he wanted to be a part of it. But let's read about Arius. Why you want to talk about Africans? Arius, who lived from 250 to 336, was a Libyan theologian whose heretical teachings sparked the 4th century Trinitarian controversies. So he was from Libya. Where's Libya at? Africa. And ordained priest in Alexandria, Egypt. He ordained priests in Egypt. Arius taught that the Son of God was not God as the Father was God, but was created by the Father. By the way, this is HarperCollins Encyclopedia. This teaching resulted in Arius' denunciation to Alexander, the bishop of Alexandria. So basically what this is saying is it was a bishop who he was sitting under, and he brought this to him while he was living in Egypt, and the man's name was Alexander, and Alexander was like, man, get out of here. I ain't with that. He banished him when he brought it to him. So after Arius was excommunicated by a council and Egyptian and Libyan bishops, he traveled to Palestine and Syria and found support for his teachings among prominent church leaders such as Eusebius of Caesarea and Eusebius of Nicomedia, right? So there's two men named Eusebius that were listening to Arius about this Jesus is not divine crap, because I don't believe that, right? And Eusebius of Caesarea, I got his writing sitting right here. He was right there dead smack in the middle of this council. And if you don't believe what we're saying from these other sources, we can read what he wrote. No problem. So it says, Arius' teaching, now called Arianism, spread and led to such controversy that Emperor Constantine convened the council at Nicaea in 325. The council rejected Arius' doctrine and banished him to Illyricum. In 327, Arius accepted a controverted formulation of the faith and presented it to Constantine with a written statement of his beliefs. Arius died shortly before his reinstatement as a priest in Alexandria, Egypt. So we're reading about men who had a particular problem and they wanted to come together and solve it. And ultimately, we see that the Council of Nicaea rejected Arius' teaching. Now, Brother Antwan, if you have anything on Arius you want to bring out, go ahead and bring it out from a different source, and let's see if it matches.
Yeah, I didn't have anything I wanted to bring out particularly concerning Arius, but I did wanted to also add to give the people more context of what was going on during this time. Christianity was legalized about 15. I want to say it was almost 15 years prior to the actual council, right?
Yes.
So Christianity was legal. So during that time, I guess still growing and building within that, just like it was in the New Testament time, just like it was, they had different sects going on with different beliefs going on about the certain belief system, right? About what was going on in this, that, and the other, right? Same thing was going on during this time during Constantine. So you had Arius and everything that he believed going on. He had people who believed in what he was saying. You had the other sect that said, no, I can't get down with that. This is not right. We shouldn't do this. Same thing, and I'm going to bring that out too when we start talking about Easter a little bit. You had people, there was a riff with Easter and how they were going to do that and how it was going to tie into what they were doing. The pagans were already doing because they had a feast going on during the same time as basically the Passover was hitting almost every single year. And you had some Christians celebrating Easter every Sunday as like the resurrection day. They were doing it on every Sunday. And we do believe Jesus died. When he died on a Friday, and he rose on a Sunday. The Christians did get that right. But the thing is, every year it doesn't fall. Just like, say like your birthday is February the 10th. Every year it's not going to fall on that same day on February the 10th. And you had you had other Christians who were still saying, no, we need to do it the same time as the Passover when he died. So it might not be the same time every day. Every year, it might not be the same exact date on a calendar or the same time they do this. We should be doing it this way. So they came together on that topic. So you had different things going on, and basically Constantine like, no, we got to do it. We got to do this right. And how are we going to create this? But since you already asked me, LaVar, I'm gonna go ahead and do it just quick.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna leave no stone unturned. This is again from the World Book Encyclopedia. This is book 1, A, the letter A, of course. It's going to be in book 1, 1998 edition. This is on page 661, and this is Arianism. It says, Arianism was an early Christian theological view taught by Arius, a priest of Alexandria, Egypt. About AD 318, Arius and his followers rejected the doctrine that the three persons of the Christian Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, were equal. Arius denied that Jesus Christ, the Son and second person of the Trinity, was completely divine. Arius taught that the Son was created by God the Father and was inferior to him. According to Arius, Jesus was not eternal, but was a superior being created by God to redeem the human race. Arius believed that both the Father and the Son were superior to the Holy Spirit. In 325, the Council of Nicaea condemned Arius' teachings as heresy and affirmed that Jesus was completely divine. And it says, see Nicene councils. And there was actually another council that when you look up some of these things, you might see Nicene councils, plural, because there was another one about, I want to say 700, it's either 6th or 7th century. They had another council about other issues and this was actually had to do with idolatry and the making of images, because there was a ruler at that time who didn't like images coming out, and you had other different groups and different sects within this Christianity that said, I want the images, or I want to build statues, and they had to come together and have another council at that, and that was also at Nicaea. Okay, but it continues. However, the view that Jesus Christ was not truly God continued to be taught in the Eastern Roman Empire during the 300s. The Council of Constantinople condemned Arianism as a heresy in 381. So this is well after that. So even after they had this whole thing that Jesus, they basically saying that Jesus wasn't God and Jesus is God, they came to a conclusion at the Council of Nicaea that, okay, we're going to teach that Jesus is divine and he's one of the people that he wasn't created. He's a lesser deity. I mean, or he, they say he's a deity, or versus that he wasn't a deity. And basically, the Council of Constantinople, which happened later on in 381, basically made it a heresy. Like, you can't teach nobody this, man. We better not catch you out there teaching this because, you know, it's a heresy. So, and it quickly disappeared. It continues reading. The Council of Constantinople condemned Arianism as a heresy in 381, and it quickly disappeared within the Roman Empire. But followers of Arianism remained active outside the empire. Arian missionaries converted the German tribes of northern Europe to Christianity during the 300s and 400s. Now, it's funny, LaVar, they keep saying that we get all this stuff of these Europeans, but here you keep saying that you keep reading about all these Europeans getting converted. Constantine was a European. We're going up here to these German tribes getting converted over. You know what I'm saying? Converted for, well, I thought the Europeans gave this to us. But we are reading about your Africans, Arians from Alexandria, all these people coming, they coming up there. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff come from the Middle East, and we got Josh did a whole class. It's on YouTube for free. Go watch it. Did Europeans give us Christianity? And it proves without a shadow of a doubt that they did not. But it just goes right along with it, right? It says Arian missionaries converted the German tribes of northern Europe to Christianity during the 300s and 400s. After these tribes invaded the Roman Empire, they reintroduced Arianism. Arian teachings received support until the 600s, when the last German tribes were converted to Orthodox Christianity. But that's what it says about Arianism.
Right.
Concerning now that's just concerning his doctrine. Now they have more about the man if you want me to read more about him.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I want if Sal had anybody that wanted to speak right now, because we haven't had any calls or whatever, we can stop it right there. I just want everybody to see the consistency between the different sources that we're bringing out. We're hearing about Trinity. We're hearing about Easter. We're going to hear about some other things as far as what went on. And I'm going to read the Nicene Council, and I can read some of the canons or rules that were brought up and voted in as far as how to select bishops at that particular time, because we had this one guy named Miletus was just doing stuff willy-nilly and just making people bishops without any authority whatsoever. But Sal, if you have anybody at this particular time, cool. If not cool, we can go on, but you let us know what's up. Sal, are you there?
Yeah. You want to go to the audience right now? Because we have some people standing by.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I asked you, yes.
All right, so let's do that. Let's go to the audience. Once again, the number is 319-527-6239. I see we got a lot of activity on social media. Also, I see some people in the chat room. What's going on in the chat room? If you want to relate your questions, you can just type it up in the chat room. And also call the number, 319-527-6239. If you have a question, please press 1 and we'll add you to the conversation. But we already have people standing by. Let's go to them now. Let's go to 240-731. You're live in there.
What's up, Brother Sal? What's up, Antwan? What's up, Brother LaVar? This is Brother KC.
Hey, peace, my brother. What's up?
Oh, man. Kenny Campbell. How's it going, brother?
What's up, man? I just want to say, man, it's a fabulous class, man. And also, I just wanted to just read a little something, man, from a couple of other different sources, okay? If that's all right.
Praise God. Come on with it.
All right. Now, first book I'm going to read a little something out of is it's The Last 2 Million Years, a little history book called The Last 2 Million Years. And it's still dealing with Constantine, of course. It says, when Constantine became emperor, he succeeded to a line of monarchs who had ruled with absolute power for many generations and who had been worshipped as gods. Talking about these emperors.
Right.
Okay, while absolute power continued, the divinity had to be dropped, for Christianity recognized only one God. a compromise was reached whereby the emperor was accepted as God's representative on earth. Sounds familiar, don't it?
Yes, sir.
13th apostle. Okay. With the title of equal to the apostles, it did not matter by what route the emperor came to the throne. His status was approved by God, even if sometimes the emperor was a monster of fight. Now, that right there is kind of twisted, as you can see, as I already read now. But I'm going to continue on real quick. I'm not going to even be long with it. But it says, numerous councils of the whole Christian church were summoned at which the emperor and his bishops tried to decide such difficult matters as whether God the Father was greater than God the Son. You brothers already touched on that. With this obsessive interest in the state of the man's belief, the early years of the Byzantine Empire were the great years of the creed makers. You touched on the Nicene Creed also.
Right.
The first council called by the Emperor Constantine at Nicaea in Western Turkey in AD 325 produced the Nicene Creed, a resounding declaration of faith which is still used in many Christian churches today. From the time of Constantine, the Roman Empire looked on the Byzantine emperors as heads of the Christian church. And I believe it was you, LaVar, who said that, hey, this is more of a Catholic thing right now. This is all this is dealing with. Is dealing with the Catholics. Okay?
Sir.
I'm going to continue on and I'll be done. And it says, let me continue on reading. But disputes over doctrine weakened the Byzantine authority, and in 800, Pope Leo III, head of the church in Rome, crowned Charles king of the Franks as the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. This was to lead to a rift between Western Christianity and Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which lasts to this day. Okay? Now, just to touch on a little something that you guys were already talking about. Now, what's the guy's name? Red puts it on. What is his name? Name it eludes me right now. But anyway, I just want to say, man, this is a great class, man. I have a lot of different sources, man, but it's all the same stuff, man. Every book that I have, that I own, when it speaks of the Nicene, the Council at Nicaea, and all these things, man, it's the same information over and over and over again, man. I just want to say, man, go ahead.
Hey, before you go, I want to ask you a couple questions. And any of them sources that you have, or any of the sources that you read, have you read anything or come across anything that said that's when they created Christianity?
Nope.
Have you heard anything
not at all.
where they said that's when they created Jesus?
Well, look, let me ask you this then, right? Okay, it says, let's think about the first century. You had Nero, right, which happened in 64. That was like around 64 when you know he blamed the Christians for burning up stuff in Rome or whatever, right? Then you had what's the other guy named Domitian? He also was persecuting Christians. All this was the first century. Then the second century you had Marcus Aurelius in the second century.
Marcus Aurelius.
So this was way before that council even took place. So, like you said, how in the world are you going to say that Christianity was invented then, where we were going back to the first century when they were talking about Christians? These Christians were like, they were spreading like wildfire. And another thing that the Christian, that faith, wherever you had that what do you want to call it? I'm going to use the correct word. The faith was just spreading. It basically was spreading like wildfire. And all these Roman emperors were trying to get rid of it. They were just doing everything that they could to kill these Christians off, get them out of the empire. As a matter of fact, which one was? One of them separated the Roman Empire into two in order to try to get rid of it, because this was before Constantine took power. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't even have it on me right now.
It was Galerius who did that, I believe.
Or Diocletian. It might have been Diocletian.
It's one of them. It's him or Diocletian.
Yeah.
One
Diocletian
or other,
was the one. He separated it with Maximian, right?
Yeah, Maximian.
Right. When they separated, when he did that to try to get rid of Christians. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when he did that, man, and it was really sad about it. When you read and look into history, these two guys, they basically quit. Okay, they were trying to kill these Christians off. They were just man, they were multiplying. People were feeling sorry for the Christians and the persecution that they were going through, and people were actually joining and becoming Christians. And I'm not sure which one of them was. It was one emperor, his wife and daughter actually became Christians. Man, history is there, man. The only thing we have to do is just read these books, man. Don't listen to what somebody say, man. If you can't read it to me and give me some type of source, man, I don't even want to hear it, man. But, that's how we do it at ABT anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, man, you brothers continue on, man. I'm going to continue to listen, man. Love you, brothers, man, and keep breaking, bro.
All right, man. We love you too, brother.
Love you too, bro. Peace.
All right. Once again, it's Debate Talk Radio. You know that number, 319-527-6239. Let's go to the next caller. Let's go to 716-563. You're live in air.
Yo, peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Clear. Oh, that's what's popping. Yo, what's good, Sal? It's your brothers at Antwan in Israel, man. I see we got Brother LaVar in the building. What's good with you, King?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Just thinking about you earlier, believe it or not.
Man, maintaining, sustaining, and not complaining, homie. There you go. And I'm sorry, what's the other brother's name who's on with you tonight? What's your name, brother?
Antwan.
That's Antwan, bro.
Oh, that's Antwan. I kept missing. I'm like, yo, who is the other guy? I guess I didn't hear your name. I kind of came in and out just listening to what you brothers doing, and I like the fact that you are trying to put, like, look, this is what's written on how these things came about, how they tried to settle controversies.
Right.
I mean, you read 2 or 3 witnesses. Whoever want to fight against that, now, whether everyone agreed with what was done or not is a different story, and it was very wise that I heard one of you brothers say earlier when I first came in, like, we're not here to tell you necessarily what we believe or don't believe as far as what was done, conclusions came to, this, that, and the third. But we just want to give you the history against those who want to say, Jesus was some made-up figure that was never existed and put together. They almost like the Stoics who claim to be Christians, but Jesus really was never material.
That's right.
His story was really just like, the principles are undeniable, but he was never literally somebody. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But the things that are interesting for those, especially those who used to, one thing about some of the quote-unquote brothers who, they'll claim some kind of Hebrewism, but now they reject Christ as being the promised salvation unto Israel and all the world. And they'll always make this statement, I used to teach all that. And you know what's funny? If you go back and do your research on YouTube for some of these dudes who, that's the only thing I had. Maybe they taught it in private. You can't find no great in-depth teachings about the Messiah.
Not at all.
Can't. Hey, boy, you just said something in, Zadok. You said something in. Hey, look here. Listen, Zadok, they don't get into anything deep or spiritual, period, let alone anything deep or spiritual concerning the Messiah. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, stand by, fellas. Stand by. We got bring Brother Josh in. He's on the line. Brother Josh, you in. Go ahead, Brother Josh.
I ain't trying. I was just in line waiting my turn like everybody else. You could just get back to Zadok there, but then when they finish, I'll just come on in. I ain't trying to jump ahead to anybody. Appreciate it though, Sal.
All right, so stand by.
No, I was just saying, Zadok, you said something in, because I've noticed the same thing. Me and Josh talked about it before. LaVar, we've all talked about this before. You notice they never get into anything deep, and I'm sitting there thinking they'll dive deep and heavy so hard into. So I call it, they get so Hebrewised. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the first things they'll do. They'll get away from it. They'll Hebrew you to death. And they'll look up at all of this stuff, and then y'all will fall for something. They said, they created the name Jesus at the Council of Nicaea and the virgin birth, and they created this. I'm like, wait, what? You mean you couldn't take 2 minutes out of a book? You'll sit there and try to learn Hebrew for months, but you won't take 5 minutes to go read exactly what happened at the Council of Nicaea. It's amazing to me. But you said something then. I've noticed the same thing that you noticed, brother. I really truly have. But go ahead.
Look, man. The fly-by-night Hebrew, the new fly-by-night Hebrew experts, who aren't even expert in the grammatics of the English language that they spoke all their life, I'm not necessarily convinced 100%. But what I will say is, if they want to throw the plagiarism stories out there, I'll tell you that none of them, not Zion Lex, none of them, and he'll throw Samaria out there and refuting the Comedics. Cool, I ain't got no problem with that. But if the New Testament and the idea of Christ and the different things, concerning the deity and this, that, and the third is nothing but a plagiarism of Osiris or Krishna or anything like that, why have they still not satisfactorily answered why the tabernacle in the wilderness and the Ark of the Covenant aren't plagiarisms of the Egyptian and Babylonian and Sumerian mystery religious systems and temple makeups that predates Israel being a nation coming out of Egypt, whenever they want to name it. If it happened, as they say, if they want to put it in Ramesses' time or some other Egyptian time, we can easily prove that the Egyptians and the Sumerians and others had, and the Phoenicians, they had temple systems with a Holy of Holies and arcs and cherubim statues and this, that, and the third. So why isn't the tabernacle? Now, I believe I know why the tabernacle in no way could be a plagiarism, but I want to hear them explain it, because it is in that same way that we would understand. I don't care what little slight thing you will find that you try to compare from some fake mythological anthropomorphized ideologies from other nations and try to throw it on Christ. We understand why Christ is not a plagiarism, but do they understand why the Ark of the Covenant and the temple system isn't a plagiarism, even though we can find shades of it way before it ever existed in Israel as a nation? I ain't heard none of them answer that satisfactorily yet. And it's not that I don't believe in the Old Testament. Of course. We the ones get on saying, look, Messiah is foretold through this thing. But the things, and when I did the class with Josh, when none of these individuals called in, and I know they seen the promotion for it. I know they seen it, King. Yeah. And they wouldn't call in. It's because they can't answer that. And the last thing that I'll say is this. If anyone has an issue with the idea of those of us who believe in Christ accepting the word Christ or the word God or the word Lord, or have no problem with saying Jesus, 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 just as we don't mind saying Yeshua or Yahweh Shai or anything they want to say, then they need to come get online, fill out the application, and we got work for them. Because real talk, I ain't answering no more questions. I deal with any of these cats again, it's going to be them coming to talk with me on a topic I set. It's been too long where, and not saying it shouldn't have been done, where individuals like ABT and KOJ and others have been willing to come to the table over the past year or two and answer questions they want to put on the table. I ain't doing that no more. I did it enough. If I deal with any of these cats, it's going to be on that terms. What y'all doing right here, empirical evidence, as they like to say, you can't deny that Christianity was around way before, and I don't care if it's Marcion, I don't care if it's Tacitus, Tertullian, whoever. They write and they quote some of the earliest things that they have, showing you that even as early as 120 in the 2nd century, other quotes in the 60s and the 70s before the temple was destroyed, just showing you that this thing was around a very long time. And I just hope that these brethren would just say, you know what, we just tired of Jesus. Just say that, and I'll accept it. But don't try to go around and make up a history that can't be it can't be proven. We can't even research this stuff y'all claim. Okay, well, where's the evidence? Like, who are the authors of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th century? Don't give me anything past the year 1000 I don't want. So, man, I thank y'all brothers, man, for putting this on, man. And it's good to hear y'all brothers teaming up, doing some stuff. You know what I mean? Josh, you know what I mean? It's good to see that brother Josh got some capable warriors with him holding sword. This is dope, man. So I'm going to sit back and continue to listen, man. Continue to feed us, Kings.
Appreciate it, bro. Love you. Brother Sal, where are you? Brother Sal been ducked off all night. Brother Sal, are you there? Antwan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back now. It's Blog Talk, man.
I'm here.
Messing with my microphone. Blog Talk messing with my mic, man. Trying to get in. He's not letting me in, man. But I'm back though. I'm here. But yeah, Brother Josh is on the line. Brother Josh, you say your piece. But again, the phone lines is open, people. You can call in. You know that number. 319-527-6239. Technical difficulties having with my mic, but as long as you can hear y'all, it's all good. But go ahead, though. Go ahead, Brother Josh. You on the line.
Hey, what's up, Sal, LaVar, Antwan, Rick Rude, Zero Tolerance. What's up, y'all?
Hey, you crazy, man. What's going on, brother?
Y'all know y'all doing y'all thing tonight, man, and see, this is one of those classes where, ignorance and biasness is really exposed. And I like the way they donk. Y'all know I call them they donkalypse. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because that brother bring it like the apocalypse coming. You know what I'm saying? But it's like what he said, man. These folks don't just want to just say what they really feel, which is, just say you tired of Jesus or Yeshua, and just be honest about it. Stop trying to lie your way out of believing in the Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it 100. Just be like, look, man, I don't want to follow this guy anymore. But because our people have a Pharisaic mindset on them, then what we have to do is we got to justify everything we do, even when we know it's wicked. We got to try to justify it. We don't want to come out and just say, hey, I'm evil, okay? I'm a wicked individual. That's just what it is. Or I'm just going to keep it 100 and be like, I don't want to follow Jesus anymore. So what they do is they lie, and people don't want to really just do what needs to be done to get to the bottom of this. Like, it's a shame. I appreciate what these brothers doing. Y'all know I do. I'm encouraging them to do this class. But it's a shame. And I'm talking to the debate talk for you audience because I know a large amount of y'all listening, y'all like us, but I know some of y'all out there who don't. But it's a shame that these brothers would have to give y'all a 2-hour-plus segment on something that you can literally, without our help, discover the truth to in, like Antwan said, less than 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Just literally, and they show you what kind of state our people in. It has nothing to do with the research not being available. It has nothing to do with the research being above your head or something that you need a qualified historian to understand. It's all about a bunch of lying individuals who don't want to just come clean about how they really feel versus what's really out there. You follow what I'm saying? And there's a lot of biased scholarship. It's in the conscious community, and it's among the Tanakh-only Hebrews. When it comes to the Messiah, Jesus Christ, whatever name you want to call him, everybody got a lie to tell. All of them dudes got a lie to tell. I don't see the conscious community say, hey, Jesus was created at the Council of Nicaea. I've seen some former Messianics make that same statement. And I'm talking about brothers who I know got better research skills and make a stupid comment like that. You follow what I'm saying? So it's not about the research. It's not about the history. We just got to put these people out there for what they are. And that's a bunch of lying, low-down, dirty snakes who don't care about truth or you. All they care about is popularity, if they can, making some money. This is why these people lie. The conscious community is full of snakes. Yeah, I'm saying it. Y'all know I ain't ashamed to put out there what I feel about them. I just did a whole video putting the Almond Rock Squad on blast, which they know not to say nothing back because they know I'll do again. Yeah, I said it. I'm talking big, and they go for anybody else in the conscious community who listening in and want to try to see if we playing like they playing. These people lie. Hear me good. Let me make sure, LaVar and Antwan, let me make sure I slow this down and repeat this. These people lie. All you got to do is do your research, sisters and brothers. This is easy. Jesus Christ existed before 325 A.D. They did not invent him at the Council of Nicaea. They debated over concepts about him and the Father and the Holy Ghost, which to anybody with even half a brain, that should tell them that he was already known and being believed on. That's common sense. Not invented there, debated there. I use this analogy. I'm sorry if I'm a little long-winded, Sal, but I'm a little frustrated with just the sheer stupidity of my people. And when I say my people, I'm talking about black people. I'm not talking about white people. I'm not a racist. Y'all know that. But when it comes to stuff like this, it's an epidemic among black folks. You don't see this too much among the white race, or the white believers. But when it comes to our people, we just do anything. You throw us a bone, we'll gnaw on it all day. Don't even see if the bone any good, got any on the nut. We just gnaw on it all day. You know what I'm saying? These people don't want to do the necessary research just to be like, yo, this right here, let me look this up. It's too many people in the conscious community telling people, oh, Jesus never existed. Oh, he was created 325 A.D. And not enough people going behind them saying, wait a minute, Jesus is established in history well before that time period. How could he be invented there? This doesn't have anything to do with somebody just making an ignorant statement. There is a conspiracy, sisters and brothers, to make you believe that Jesus did not exist or who he was invented later than the New Testament says he was. And this is why I know, and this is my prediction, nobody, now, y'all listen to me, right? Nobody is going to call in tonight, and they're listening. That's what be killing me. They try to act like we don't say nothing. Sal going to upload this video on YouTube, right? Probably tomorrow, day after. Everybody going to come on, after the Warriors have left the building. And now everybody going to have something to say, and ain't nobody going to have nothing to say about the info. Ain't nobody going to be like, LaVar, Antwan, their scholarship was wrong. It don't say that in history. No, they going to go on there. They're going to be like, oh, your Bible fake. Y'all some slaves. That's the white man's Bible. See, this is what we dealing with. Nobody wants to challenge the actual scholarship. We putting this information out here, and they're going to go right up there because it's not about the information. It is a conspiracy. You are dealing with a bunch of liars. These people are professional liars. When I say professional, I mean they get paid to do this, and they have made lying into an art, a skill.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Especially in the conscious community. I'm telling y'all. And it's not every single person in the conscious community, but the vast majority, I would dare say the high 90 percentile. Yep. These people are made to lie. They are put in place to lie. It's not like there's a process where, hey, this dude he got some knowledge. He got some knowledge. Go ahead and come on to the conscious community. These people are handpicked and selected and placed in front of you. So you can see certain people, and they get that shine, and then they do their little editing magic, and they put stuff you in the perspective of the person presenting the platform. They don't give it to you in a neutral platform, the person that's putting the show together. Like with Sal ain't giving you a perspective. We don't have the people, I ain't going to even say half, nobody except Sal's personal friends and family even know what he believes. You know what I'm saying? But you go on these other forums, these people putting a slant on that stuff. They putting people in place that they endorse. See, Sal don't got to endorse us. He ain't got to endorse Zion Lex or anybody else that's been on the show. Sal just like, hey, you think you know something? Come on the show. But in this conscious community, make no mistake about it. These people are handpicked and selected. Look at these people like, you know what? I want him. I don't want him because he going to make people think. He going to make people do some research. You know what I'm saying? I want the people that's going to perpetuate the common misconceptions and lies and keep them going. That's why I challenge any, and you know who you are, who telling people, oh, Jesus was created at the Council of Nicaea. If you know you said it, if you know you put it out there, I challenge you to call in and show from history that there was no trace of Jesus or Christians, because if Jesus was invented at the Council of Nicaea, then of course you can't have Christianity prior to that, right? The Christians can't exist before Jesus. That's common sense, right? So I want somebody, if you are listening and you know you said it, to be a man or a woman, hit one and call in and put these two brothers on blast and say, y'all scholarship is flawed. You don't know what you're talking about. You can even open up with that statement, but back it up after you say it. I'm just going to sit back and chill, Sal. I just had to just let that be said.
Actually, we have people standing by on the lines right now. I'm going to go to the phone lines. Again, that number is 319-527-6239. Let's go to the phone lines. And for the first-time listeners out there, the first-time callers, it's a reminder, there's no foul language. Keep it clean, keep it professional. So let's go to the phone lines right about now. Let's go to 646-592. You're live on air.
Hey, first of all, Sal, I want to say thanks. This is Brother Garfield, man. Dagger Squad in the building. I am a representative of the conscious community, and only thing I will agree with what Josh said is that the whole 325 date is foolishness. I agree with that 100%. Now, I have a bunch of things to say about what he's saying and what these brothers might present. I don't know what they're going to present, but Josh, you call your whole thing absolute Bible truth. That in itself is a lie. How can you have an absolute Bible truth?
This class ain't got nothing to do with that, Garfield.
Original text.
Hold on. Let him finish.
Let me finish. The second thing is, how could the people be called Christians when the manuscript evidence, brother, doesn't say that? That kills your whole argument right now. They don't even need to present anymore. Let's look at the oldest manuscripts that you have. Between the 2nd century and the 4th century, you show me tonight one of those manuscripts saying Jesus Christ in it. The original
I didn't say
manuscript.
that. Whoa. Hold on a second. Garfield, let me finish. No, nobody's saying that, though.
Let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Let me finish, brother. You ran for so long and talk all these lies. Nobody's running from you, Josh. But I'm not saying that. You. Now, yes, you're lying on me, though. People don't want to. You said people don't want to debate you. I want to debate you, and I'm gonna tell you right now that
no, you don't. Debate me, Garfield. Hold on. You want to debate me? Hold on, wait. You want to debate me? Debate me on Kemet. Debate me on Kemet. He don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. Will you debate me on Kemet? Yes or no?
You know.
I won't say nothing else after that. Hold on, Sal.
Hold on a second.
I won't say anything after that. Sal. I won't say anything after this.
You want to debate? You want to debate me on Kemet? Do I claim
on something concerning Kemet? Something concerning Kemet? Yes.
Why would I debate you? Why would I? I don't have to debate you on Kemet because I don't claim. Hold on.
You liar, man.
Hold on. Oh, now I'm a liar. Hold on.
You just said it.
Come on. They get all excited because they know
Hey, everybody. Let them finish.
Yeah, hold on, Garfield. I'm going to let them say their piece. I got to maintain control, and I'm going to bring you back in. Go ahead, Josh. You can say your piece. I got to get control. So go ahead. Say your piece, and I'm going to bring Garfield back in.
Sal, no, bring him back in now so you won't have no excuse to try to be like you playing favor. I'm quiet. Let him finish. Don't nobody say nothing. Let him rant.
Okay. Now, let's get back. And Sal, I don't respect you for muting me a while ago. But anyway, let me say this. You said that all you got to see.
I got to maintain control, Garfield. It was getting crazy.
Have the term. Because
Garfield, hold on, Garfield.
I didn't interrupt him.
Stand by. Only reason why I did that because it was getting crazy. You know that. I had to maintain order. So now you got the floor.
Right
so now
let me finish.
So now I'm bringing you back in. You're here. You got the floor now. So go ahead.
All right. Let me tell you what kills this whole Christian argument. No manuscript between the 2nd and the 4th century that was found in Egypt, because all the manuscripts, the earliest manuscripts for the Bible is found in Egypt. So now you have to ask yourself, which one of these manuscripts that they have, P1, P2, P48, P whatever, show me a manuscript that says the term Yahusha, as some people say it. I know you don't say that, Josh. I'm just saying in general. I'm saying the term Jesus the Christ in Greek. Show me that.
Say that.
And hold on a second. The second thing is, show me the term Christians in the text. Because, you see, this brother Josh claims that the people are liars, but you see, the problem is Josh will know something and don't say it in public, which makes him also a liar. The term Christians was never in the Bible originally. It was put in there. So we know that because based on the manuscript, early manuscript evidence, we know Christians was there with an E, and we know the oldest churches said Isu Christus, Jesus the Good. That was Marcion's church. And all the earliest churches don't say Christians, they say Christians. The earliest church fathers said Christians. This whole Christian thing was changed. It wasn't changed 325 though. That's the only thing I agree with Josh is the whole concept of Jesus Christ. We don't find no manuscript saying Jesus Christ until way after the 4th century. So if you can find a manuscript that says Christians that's related to your Bible, I'll shut up and I don't want to debate Josh ever. You win. You're the best ever. Him and his two other guys that's there can't show no manuscript saying Christians. Nobody should be calling themselves Christians because it never existed in that sense. And if you look at the people who ever call themselves Christians, they were in Turkey or Asia. And those people were practicing something totally different than what you practice today. So now, if you have something to refute that, I don't want to debate you no more. You win. As far as Kemet, I don't say that I support Kemet. I support all of Africa. I study Africa. I'm trying to reorient myself with my traditions. So I trace it through DNA, through oral tradition, and go back to where I'm from. That's what I do personally. As far as the Amun-Ra squad, if you want to debate Jonathan Owens, they set it up something for you, and you never showed up as far as what I heard. Because I know Josh ain't no coward. That's one thing I'll say about his brother. He's not a coward, but he's tactical. He is very tactical. So he'll send a flunky like LaRon to defend his video and then take notes and then try to make a video refute it. I say to you, Josh, as a big man who's not a coward, why don't you just debate Jonathan on a one platform where you could show your evidence on a Hangout or YouTube at the same time Jonathan is on? Show he's a pseudo that way instead of doing it behind his back. That's all I'm saying, man to man. But as far as Christians and talking about the 325, I support the 325 date, but there was no damn Christians written about in no Bible before the 4th century or even during the 4th century. And if you show me a manuscript that says Christians or Jesus Christ, I shut up. I'll never come on debate talk for you again.
You're a liar. You're a liar when you say that.
Now, Sal.
I can respond. You can respond.
Now, Sal, you notice that I let him get it all off his chest, right? Because he claimed that I'm tactical. He said a mouthful. Okay. First of all, nobody claimed. See, this is how the lying conscious community, straw man argument. First of all, did anybody tonight say that you would find Jesus Christ or Christian in the original manuscript? Did you say that, LaVar?
Nope. Never said
Did you say that, Antwan?
Nope. Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing?
No. I let you talk.
No, just lie, brother. I'm not going to interrupt you. No, because you said that it's the people.
See, Sal, now you need to mute him. Now you need to mute him. Now you need to mute him, see?
Yeah, I guess I'm bad again, right? Because we just interrupted the brother.
Sal,
I'll bring you in. So let me speak.
Now, Sal, you see how long me and LaVar, we weren't even muted, and Antwan. We all quietly let him say that, and he went completely in. Nobody said nothing. I'm not even talking for a minute. No, you're lying. See, this is what the country community do, and this is why I don't want to get on no forum with them, because this is what they do. They get on there, and then they create straw man arguments, right? Nobody said a Christian appeared in the original Greek. I got mountains of books where I can break down when the word Christian was first used. When I use the word Christian, everybody who heard me teach know I mean in the context of what we call believers today. And then you have to define that, because you got the Sunday Christian and you got the true believing people. Number two, The brother said Jesus Christ. We all know that's English. We all know that comes from Latin, which comes from the Greek, which comes from a transliteration of the Hebrew, Yeshu Mashiach. We all know that. Nobody is claiming that a modern-day word for the Messiah being used today, or name, is the same name you're going to find in the text. Now, this is coming from a brother who's on a group called Team Osiris. Was Osiris the original enunciation of that God? No, he was not. But y'all call yourself Team Osiris. That's the Greek transliteration of that name. The original Medunetta is Asar or Wusir. And Jonathan Owens will tell you that. So don't sit on here trying to play you won't find that. You want Team Osiris. Another thing, you thought you don't support Kemet, but on Bob Film Show, look it up. You said that you follow the laws of Ma'at. You said the principles of Ma'at. You adhere to the principles of Ma'at. That is an Egyptian principle. But don't try to play that, I'm going to jump into Kemet when it's convenient. But then when Josh and ABT start bringing out stuff we don't like, I don't represent Kemet. I represent all of Africa. All of Africa do not ascribe to the principles of Ma'at. It's an Egyptian principle. Number 4, you told them all, I sent to run to do my thing and then take notes. Bro, I was not available in that Google Hangout. Talk to your boy. Talk to film. Talk to LaRon. Talk to Jonathan Owens. That Google Hangout was not even originally about me. It was titled The Army Ross Squad Answers Questions to the Hebrew Israelites. So I used to going behind their back doing something when they went behind my back first and changed the topic that wasn't even aimed at me. And put my name out there, right? You want to talk about Jonathan Owens again? Jonathan Owens was the one on Facebook calling me out on social media. Now, y'all gonna make a whole Google Hangout video that I'm not there and put my name out there, then go on social media and put my name out there again on Facebook. But I'm supposed to, listen to this, LaVar Antwan, but Garfield Reed want me to call Jonathan up and go back and forth with him.
Right, man.
You know what I'm saying? No, you put me on blast, and you know what, Garfield Reed, now that you don't put your mouth out there, you next. The next is Team Osiris. So you just hit it side. Because I'm tired of you trying to come out here and trying to act like you don't see what they're doing. Look what he came on here and said on Debate Talk for You, the 325 thing. But how many times have Garfield Reed sat by quietly and seen his comedic colleagues make this same fallacy and didn't say nothing?
Yep. Didn't say a word.
Did he interrupt? I don't heard Up say that before. Up got whole videos up. But you all buddy on Facebook with Jonathan from the Army Rock Squad. While he cracking jokes at my expense, you laughing it up with him and hashtagging him, but you'll come on here and say, the 325 AD stuff, that's a fallacy. I agree with y'all on that. That's ridiculous. Well, how many times have you heard on the Rock Squad make that same fallacy and you sat there like a coward and didn't say nothing because you want their friendship?
Ain't say nothing.
You didn't say nothing. You sat down. You have no integrity, bro. You are one of the fakest dudes in the conscious community. You smile in people's face, and then you go on other social media, and you start laughing at them. That's why the Rock Squad fell out with Team Osiris, because that's the way y'all operate.
Scandalous, man.
Oh, but you don't want to go there. I ain't going to go there, though. I'm not going to go there, though, because it ain't about that. But I can't stand how this brother keep trying to call in and act like he all genuine when he know he's slithering around. When he knows that he'll sit next to these same comedic brothers who he know are making historical fallacies, and he'll be on their LOL, hashtag this, that, and that. He'll do all of that. But then when he come on here, he'll like, I'll give you that. And then he'll create all these straw man arguments and all that. If you want me to break down Christianity, that's cool. But have a belief system. Don't pretend like you don't have a belief system. Put your belief system out there, Garfield Reed. Listen to me. Listen carefully. Put out there what you believe, and I promise everybody on Debate Talk for You, I will annihilate it.
Bro,
put it out there.
Brother
Put
John,
it out there. I dare you to do it.
Brother John, we have been petitioning him for the past 2 or 3 years to do that, and he still ain't did it.
That's right.
Let's keep it real. Don't come on here and always want to tie Christians' hands up behind their back and you throw all the punches but never put out what you believe. You are the biggest snake and coward I ever met in my life, bro. This comes from Brother LaVar. I said it. You're a coward. Don't come if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. This is an in-house issue. Why are you around here? Why?
Right. And yeah, and he can't listen. Listen, and I was gonna say like that's what really bothers me the most about the whole thing is this whole straw man argument. Coming on making a straw man argument, and for those who don't know what a straw man is, he's attacking a claim of something that we never even said. That's why I said earlier, I'm like, it's not what this class is about, because you just came on the call and it started to go in. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even talking about that. And then all of a sudden you throw out a claim that we don't even make. Those are some of the fallacies. That's one of the many fallacies that y'all in the conscious community always throw out. And people don't catch it. They just get caught up in the hoopla going back and forth.
Antwan, let me put this here while I'm at it. And just in case you and that was a witness, because why don't you call your boy Unc and ask him why he ran from our debate?
Right.
That was going to be on Debate Talk for you.
I'm a witness to that.
And LaVar was listening in on the conversation. Why don't you ask why he ran from our debate? Why he canceled? Why don't you ask him that? I challenged to a debate, and ran. And I told people in advance that he would run. So don't try to say, he's tactical. He's tactical. You know I'm right on tactical. Who don't supposed to have tact? You're supposed to be strategic.
And then they try to get you on. Why don't you call them up and talk to someone? That's all they always try to do. They try to get you on their phone, but they said try to do that. Garfield tried to do the same thing to me on YouTube when he went on Sinetta TV and did that whole when he attacked Zion Lex's book or whatever, and he went into the 600 years of Bible prophecies of the judges and all that stuff. He totally messed the whole thing up. I cut that man about like 2 posts, and then I was like, well, let's talk. That video's still up. He probably still making that same claim. He ain't never recanted. You know what? I stand corrected. I was wrong about these all these years. These prophecies actually do line up with the year. He think he went back and did any of that stuff? Nope. None of that stuff, man. So don't start that, Garfield. Please don't.
But look, they ain't got to worry about it though, because when the next, if you notice, like, he come from going and putting them on blast. I find that it foul. I hope you're still listening. I hope the whole Debate Talk for you are listening, because I want y'all to listen to the language. Talking with the Army Rock Squad.
Hey, you breaking up, Josh. Okay, you good now. You good.
Like, I'm saying, like, first of all, what's the one where
breaking up?
You still breaking up, Josh. You still breaking up. Yeah. But in the meanwhile, we got some other callers standing by. In the meanwhile, so let's get some more of these callers. Again, you know that number, 319-527-6239. All right, make sure you call. When you call and keep it clean, keep it professional. All right, and don't take it personal when you get muted. You're gonna wild out and go crazy on the phone lines. You got to maintain control. For the 443-939. You're live on air.
Hey, what's up, fellas? All I can say is wow. You know, this is Jeff calling out of Maryland, man. Definitely representing ABT, man. I love these brothers, man, for the scholarship that they bring to the table, man. And it makes people step their game up on all levels if one is true about this. Like I've been saying since I've been turned on to Debate Talk for You and ABT, it's got to be deeper than the debate. What I've seen over the years is a lot of these guys just want to get on, grandstand, allow the world to see that they know a little something, understand a little terminology, basically, but they don't want to be honest about it and learn that thing to live it. If you put it at the forefront of learning it to live it, then morals will stand at the front of everything. I myself, I don't get on here proclaiming to be like, yo, I'm the smartest person or this, and that. But if anybody with sense, you're going to want to learn from people that present themselves in the smartest way. You know, when we dealing with the council of Nicaea, clearly, simply, with reading it, you just see that Constantine saw the same problems that we still see today. And basically, he was trying to do something to make it come to one understanding and calm things down. But still, years later,
that's right.
we see the same things going on today. And as far as Garfield Reed and guys like him, it's like, man, be honest, man. These guys jump into the arena and they want to set the rules. So if you don't say verbatim this, I got you here. But everybody knows if you study something, you got to study it from A to B and pay attention to how this became that. Like Josh said, with transliteration and translation, you got to follow it all, man. Stay true to the game and stop treating this thing like a game and learn it to live it. And if y'all ain't going to be about what y'all say, y'all going to have to get on another platform because we guarding that word as that law, as the book say when you look it up. But they get mad at us when we start bringing up definitions and things of that nature, but they will study for whatever job they work for. That's the part that get my emotions boiling. These same books that'll get you a promotion on your job, dictionaries and encyclopedias that'll get you understanding on these top-notch jobs, man, they're going to study that through and through because they want that man to give them an extra $1. My thing is put the same thing to the thing you believe in and focus on learning it to live it. Man, these guys piss me off, man, and that's all I want to say is I love y'all, brother, and I love how y'all make people step their game up, man.
Love you too, brother.
Stay firm, bro. Stay rooted and grounded in the word. That's what we gonna do.
That's right.
All right, I'm back on. All right, once again, it's Debate Talk Radio. Let's get another caller real quick, 716-563, you're live in there.
Yeah, man, this is Zadok, man. Yo, man, why y'all doing this, man?
Hey, man, I was just telling the fellas, man, I done started a fire tonight.
Yo, Josh hair turned into Goku hair.
No way.
Oh my God! Why they want problems with that? Just leave Josh alone. Let him come on and talk to William Bell next week or whatever, man. Why they doing this, man? Look, I got nothing but love for Garfield Reed. But the truth of the matter is, first of all, the topic that you all were talking about, he didn't address. He said everything he agreed with. It's almost like he bypassed the two brothers. Josh is a caller like me and like him, and he comes in and says, only thing I agree with Josh on is that in 325 that, whatever. He didn't address all the information that you brothers put out there on what happened after night. If he, Garfield, I've debated Garfield twice on Debate Talk for You.
I commend you, bro. You have patience.
Right. You know what I mean? And I mean, but it was spirited, and he told me he knows the New Testament in the history of Christianity better than me. So my thing is this. It's not only on Christians to have a manuscript. First of all, like all the manuscripts have been found, first of all. Secondly, it's not just on Christians to say we're Christians, but what about anyone else around them? What about secular entities who may have wrote even against them or spoke against them, let alone others who were trying to write about the early history? Like, if he's such an expert, he would at least have to admit that when you have individuals like Tacitus, who wrote in his annals of 116, when he talked about what Nero did in burning the city down, and he said Nero blamed it on the group that by the populace were called Christians.
Right.
Why he can't admit that? Why you can't just say, well, but that, because he's saying this, but if he know it, then tell him to come back on and don't argue with nobody. Just say, this is the date when the word Christian was made up and the word Jesus, because now he's going to have to, the people he named to me, Suetonius, Pliny, many others who were way before some Nicene Council, as early as 116, you got Christians being referred to as a group being blamed for a fire. You got Tertullian. You got many others who wrote about Christ, Jesus. What about Origen in his writing called Against Celsus? Mm-hmm. It's just too much stuff out here where Christians and Jesus is mentioned just in secular or theological discussion. So my thing is, if he's trying to say the Christians, that Christian is made up, when was it made up? Because now we can refer to the book of Acts, and we know that Luke the physician, all theologians and historians who give an about date for when they believe the book of Acts was written, it says that the Jews were first called Christians in Antioch.
That's what it
So
says.
at the end of the day, why don't he just be fair to the totality of history and not just try to make the idea of the word Jesus or the identity marker of Christian being something that we shouldn't be called, when those who were writing about the faith that we now claim as early as basically within what would that be? That's within 40, 50 years of Jerusalem being destroyed, that you got Christians, and it's documented. Nero blamed the Christians. They were called Christians when Nero blamed them. So at the end of the day, man, why is he on one hand claiming to be this great educated individual who don't believe in nothing we believe in, but claim to be more expert in it than us, but won't be fair to the overall discussion and just try to pigeonhole? This is the only way you can prove on whether Christian as a term is acceptable or not. No, man, don't do that, man. You wouldn't do that to nobody else, man. Real talk, you wouldn't do that to nobody else. At the end of the day, Egyptians still accept the word Egyptian, even though you could go back and say way long ago it was called Kemet, but they ain't got no problem with the term Egyptian. It's only some Negroes in America who try to make the word Egyptian a problem. I'm done.
I think Antwan called us drop, and I know that Josh called drop. All right, so brothers, call back in and press number 1, and we'll add you in the conversation. By the way, we got Garfield still on the line. I want to hear his response. And after that, we're going to move on to the next call. Let him get some final words, because a lot of things have been said. Let him respond right quick, and then after that, we're going to hopefully the brothers call back in. I see you on the phone line, but I'm going to bring you in too. Let the brother respond, and after that, we're going to get, of course, a reply from ABT, and then to get some more to callers. We got a lot of callers standing by. Again, the number's 319-527-6239. You're now checking out Debate Talk Radio. Go ahead.
Hey, peace to the brothers from Absolute Bible Truth. In all fairness, I didn't hear their presentation. I only heard Brother Josh, just to respond to Zadok. The second thing I want to say to Zadok is, please don't speak on what you're not familiar with. First, let's go through the whole thing with Tacitus. The Tacitus, if you look at the original manuscript, it actually doesn't say Christian. It says Christians with an E. The Christians later on in the 11th century erased the letters to make it look like Christian. The English letters look like Christian, but it actually said Christians. So if you're saying that the Christians were called out by Tacitus, that is actually factually, historically incorrect. When we look at Suetonius talked about Chrestus, Chrestus in 49 AD, saying that because of this person named Chrestus, that the people in Rome were acting up. And of course, we know Jesus the Christ was not alive at 49 AD. So we know that reference is not talking about Jesus Christ. When you look at Pliny the Younger, as I said to Josh earlier, that the people that they were talking about who were Christians, yes, and I talked about Serapis Christus and Christians and people named Christians, but the people who were named Christians who Pliny the Younger was talking about lived in West Asia near Turkey. And those people used to worship the sun. I don't know any Christians today who worship the sun. Has nothing to do with a figure called Jesus Christ. But you have to look behind the information that the people are giving you. My issue is not if Christians is mentioned early, late, whatever. I was saying that the terms that we are used to, this is the thing that the Roman Church did. If you study Alcyon de York, the guy who was commissioned to do a lot of the Latin translations from the early years. When you look at his writings and what he wrote, you could clearly tell what went on. There's no reference to Jesus the Christ in Greek. Let me be clear, because Brother Josh tried to play semantics that we're talking about today. No, I'm not talking about the word Jesus Christ. The word Jesus Christ is an English rendition or a transliteration of another term. So now what I am basically saying, and I have to be clear to you guys, and I must, to absolute Bible truth, I didn't hear you guys' presentation. I was just responding to what Josh is saying. So let me just be clear on that. So I don't know if you're presenting that he said something about Ankh, and just give me 1 more minute, Sal. He said something about Ankh. Why don't I go to Ankh? I have never had a discussion with Ankh about the Council of Nicaea. I've never been beside him. As far as Team Osiris, I haven't been a member of Team Osiris from May of this year. I haven't been in Team Osiris. I'm no longer a part of Team Osiris. So get your information correct. As far as Josh and Jonathan, I'm just basing what I hear on one side, just like how you guys are hearing Josh's side. All I'm saying is if the brothers got issue with information, just go on a platform and deal with it. Show your side, and Jonathan show his side, and let the audience make a decision. He is correct. A lot of people said 325 AD is when the stuff happens and so forth. A brother named Alvin, who's in the community, he's a Hebrew Israelite. He made a video because Zion Lex had made a video saying 325. And I agreed with Alvin and posted it on my timeline. So him saying I'm being a hypocrite and that I don't agree with certain people in the Kemetic community that says it's 325 AD. I've never agreed with it, and I've never been beside somebody that says it and I agreed with them. So that is not true. Josh, you're bearing false witness. That is not correct. As far as me and Josh, and you can ask Sal Showtime right now, I told Josh what I believe in, and he still did not debate me. So what more can I do? He's telling the audience, until we know what you believe, so I could chop it up. That was clearly sent in the inbox because I reached out to Sal and said, please tell Josh I'd like to debate him on this certain topic. And he said, I want to know what you believe. He asked 3 times. I sent my information back to him. He came back and, hey, ain't no debate. I'm not running from Josh. Josh does not want to debate me on a topic where he's comfortable. But let me finish this, though. All right, give me 30 more seconds, please.
Oh, hold on,
issue.
Let
me just finish.
I'm gonna let you get the floor. I'm gonna let you get the. No, I'm not cutting you off. I'm just saying, why don't you relay that right now? What do you believe? Relay that now to the people. We're on the air. Let's put it out there. Go ahead.
Leo, what I believe as far as what? Tell him to come on the line and ask me what he wants to know. And I answer him right now.
I'm asking you what I'm saying. Put it out there.
No.
What do you believe?
Because I don't want no excuses from Josh. I'm going to tell him the same thing that I said in the inbox. So tell him to come on the line right now and ask me right now, since I'm afraid.
All right, hold on.
Right now.
It's gonna be the same question, but okay. Go ahead, Josh. You're on the airways.
Okay, I'm back, and I'm gonna ask my question, but let me just clear up something he said. First of all, brother, I never said. Are you listening to me, Garfield? Do you hear me? First of all,
I could hear you loud and clear, my brother.
I never said that when somebody said 325 AD, you agreed. I said you sat back quietly when you heard people like Unc say that. I never said that you talked. Let me finish.
Give me an example.
Let me finish. Those brothers say stuff all the time. Unc got a video up right now talking about the Hebrews are not in history, and he mentions that in that video. It's called The Hebrews Are Not in History. You never went on his page, correct me if I'm wrong, and you know what today's day is. So if I feel comment today, I know you just said that today. You never went on his channel and correct him and said, Unc, with all due respect, that is not historically true. The only time you like to throw around your historical prowessness is at the expense of the Christians or the Hebrews. But I don't ever see you going in strong on a lot of the fallacies that I know somebody of your intellectual caliber noticed that the community is saying. And don't act like you don't see a lot of stuff. But every time I see a video on TV, it's always.
But I must confess, You are. I cannot say if you're right. I have to acknowledge it. There's a lot of BS that comes out about certain things, but I can't respond to everybody. Now, you said there's a video. Let me just say this real quick.
But
Garfield,
Garfield, but that's my point.
You said there's a video. I don't know why. I don't watch all the videos on Ang's channel. I don't watch all the videos.
You do, and you should. What I'm saying is, the conscious community.
Why am I chipping out? Can you guys hear me? Somebody's
I hear you.
Chipping out.
I hear you.
Go ahead.
I said, Garfield, I am on Debate Talk for You. That's more of a Hebraic/Christian community, right? The first thing that I'm going to notice or be aware of is what goes on in my community, and that's the first thing I'm going to correct. Go back and check the archives, and you'll notice that most of my classes on Debate Talk for You are aimed at Hebrew Israelites and mistakes that Christians make. I don't go jump the ship and act like I don't see the mess going on around me and start going out there and start attacking another group, the whole system. That's what you do. And I was saying that I know you see a lot of the mess that they saying is wrong, but every time I turn around, it's a video aimed at the Bible. It's video aimed at the Hebrew Israelites. You are very biased in your scholarship, and you know it. But that's not even the point. Let me just get to the question.
Can I hold on a second?
Let me get to the question.
Can I respond? Hold on. Let me respond to you real quickly here. Real quickly here. All right? Now, are you saying that I don't respond to videos that I see and information that I see and listen to? Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. Make it clear.
Okay, no, let me tell you what I'm saying. Because you got me wrong. Let me tell you what I'm saying.
Give me 10 seconds, brother. All I'm saying to you. Now, if I choose to, all right, say for example, if I choose to speak on an issue and I'm asked a question, I'm going to speak on that and speak of what I know about it. I might not be a researcher in the area. It's like if you ask me about Egypt as far as the cosmogony or the cosmology, I might not answer because I don't study Egypt for that. I study Egypt for historical events. I don't study for what they believe. But if you ask me about Maya, like you said that, why would I say I follow Maya? Because it's a set of principles that I personally follow. Plus, there's a writer in the community who wrote a book called Maya, and it's a guide for lives and moral living. But so I use that book as a guide for me.
Garfield, saying that you subscribe to the principles of Ma'at, subscribe to Egypt, saying I subscribe to the Ten Commandments, but don't subscribe to the Bible. You do understand how stupid that sounds, right?
No, hold on a second.
Okay,
now, hold on a second, brother. Hold on a second. This is what I'm saying to you. If I choose to follow a certain amount of principles, ancient Near East history is what I like, what I have studied, what I've researched. Now, if the laws in the Bible is correct, brother, I'll follow the law that's in the Bible if it applies to my life. And
I'm not talking about.
So now, hold on a second. Now, hold on a second.
I'm not going to let you. You're twisting what I'm saying. Hold on.
We still deviating from the main thing. Garfield, let them know what you believe, brother. Since we're on the air, I mean that was the whole thing. You want to relay that to the brother? So put it out there. What do you believe? He hung up.
Concerning.
Come on, man. He hung up. He also hung up.
This is my question.
On the phone.
What? This is my question.
He's not on the phone. He's not on the phone anymore. I guess he hung up or the call dropped, whatever. But he's not on the line anymore.
Okay,
Garfield, call back in. Hold up. I think he's back on. Go ahead, Josh.
Okay, Garfield, you there?
Here.
You there, Garfield?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm driving.
As far as what you believe, Sal is a witness. You have never been clear about exactly what you believe. Now, you just said you subscribe to the principles of Ma'at, right? Sal, these type of commandments in Kemet, but when you say label, I say the 10 commandments, Everybody knows Bible. They know that's Hebrew. They know that's Yahweh. They know that's Yahuwah. With that. So if you say you fly the principle of
yeah, you're breaking up real bad, Josh. You're breaking up. Yeah, you're breaking up very, very bad, man. Hello? Yeah. Okay, Garfield call just dropped again. Yeah, I can hear you now. But you were breaking up. But go ahead, Go ahead. You can put it here. His call dropped. You can put it out there. What are you going to say? Put it out there.
I don't have a problem. I want to wait for him to come back.
All right, Garfield, if you're out there, man, just call back in. But Antwan and LaVar, you're still on the phone lines. And people, I see you guys. We're going to get to your calls, too. You're going to get to you. Don't go nowhere. You know that number, 319-527-6239. Press 1 and we'll add you in the conversation. But, Garfield, if you're out there, man, just press number 1 one more time, and we'll bring you back in. But you can go ahead, if you want to speak a little bit, then we're going to wait for the call back in.
Can you still hear me okay, Sal?
Okay, you sound good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Bro, Josh, you breaking up bad, man.
Are you breaking up again? Yeah.
Bro, Josh, you breaking up bad. Something terrible.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Josh. Gonna have to call back in, man. Can't hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, man. Just call back in if anything. Just call back in. But LaVar, Antwan, anything y'all want to say before we move on to the next caller? Go ahead.
Well,
no, I don't.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This has been absolutely ridiculous, and people have been wanting to hear information about this particular class. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Sal. I'm disappointed that you even let this go this far. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love you to death, but this is absolutely ridiculous. We haven't brought anything out in over an hour. I really don't even like. This is my bedtime. I didn't even plan on being on there this long because I got to get up early. So if it was up to me, I'd be like, I'm cool. I just want to end it right here. I'm good.
Oh, yeah, I'm back on, fellas. I'm back on. Yeah, I got some microphone issues. LaVar actually hung up. LaVar, I'm going to speak to you later on, too, but I don't know what you're talking about. It's disappointing to me, but we're going to talk about that later on. But go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. You went on phone lines. Josh, you're there. And Antwan, you're there, too. Phone lines.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, Sal?
I can hear you.
You're a lot better now.
Okay. I only heard part of what LaVar was saying because the phone actually hung me up and said, "Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye." You know what I'm saying? Which is the recording you get when the show is over. You know what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, all he was saying was basically that he was disappointed that I let the show go this far into whatever's happening. All I'm doing is letting you guys speak and dialogue with each other. The audience want to hear what's going on, so. But, that's whatever. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. But go ahead, Antwan and Josh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is Garfield back?
No, he's not back yet. Yeah, I don't think he's going to call.
Okay.
He might not call back in.
I said. Okay. Why you got it on the record? Why you got it on the record, Sal? Because I can't stand how these folks want to keep playing like I'm politicking behind the scenes and I'm doing a little devious stuff when they know it's them. You know what I'm saying? Sal, I don't ever ask you to be biased, but I do always ask you to keep it real. I don't ask you to lie for me. I ask you to tell the truth for me. Sal, who counseled the debate between me and Unc? Did I run from Unc, or did Unc counsel the debate on me? That's all I want you to put out there for the people. You ain't got to take up for nobody.
I put it out there already, too. I already put it out there officially, too, on a previous show that he canceled. Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. Right, Unc counseled on me. I did not. I challenged Unc And Unc tried to get me to debate Jonathan after he said he wouldn't debate me. He accepted the challenge, then he said he didn't want to debate me. I told him I would debate anybody else, but I want to debate you first because I thought you were the man, like the leader of the Almond Rock Squad, right? So, number two, I don't have any problem debating Jonathan Owens on a neutral platform. I told Basim that, he's a witness. I told Sal that, he's a witness. I told LaRon Campbell that, he's a witness. I never said that I don't want to try to talk to him. The day that Basim attended that Google Hangout with LaRon Campbell, I was not available. So if I was not available, right, how am I the bad guy, Sal and Antwan, if I wasn't available and they did a whole video on a Google Hangout with my name in the title going in on me? Now, who do we behind who back? If I wasn't available, my name ain't the game up. My name should have been spoken. They should have been like, okay, we wish we had Brother Josh, but he ain't available, so we'll just dialogue on something else and try to set that up next time. Right? That's what you're supposed to do if somebody's not available. They didn't do that. That wasn't even the title of that original Google Hangout. The original title was just answering questions. They put my name on there. And see, Garfield Reed, like he just said when he called it himself, he said, I'm only getting one-sided stuff. Exactly. He's not asking me anything. He's just assuming the worst for me and putting me to be the bad guy, and then he come on and he want to put me on blast like I'm dealing dirty when I'm trying to do everything the right way, and they the ones snaking behind my back. So then, after they do the Google Hangout, what happens, and I got witnesses of all of this, and I got documentation to prove it, Jonathan Owens goes on social media, Facebook, calling me out, calling me a fool, calling me pseudo, calling my documentary pseudo, telling people I'm hiding from him, telling people I'm running from him. He told me, bring him to me. What am I supposed to do? You did a video with my name on it, and you put me on blast. So I respond with a video. What does Garfield Reed come in and say? Oh, you should have called him. They put a video out on me, but I respond with a video. I'm the bad guy. Antwan, let me make sure I repeat it. I hear it. They put a video on YouTube attacking me. Then they put my name on it, and they were constantly attacking me on Facebook, Jonathan Owens. I respond with a video. Garfield calls me being a tactician. He said, I LaRon to that Google Hangout. I did not send LaRon to that Google Hangout. I did not send Basim. Basim called me up and told me about the Google Hangout and asked me if I could make it, and I said I wasn't available. So how am I sending anybody to something that I don't even know what's going on? I didn't send them anywhere. I do think that the questions they brought out were helpful to my research in bringing out the video, and I told them both that. But I did not send anybody anywhere. He's talking about somebody bearing false witness. This dude will lie 3 times in a single word, and he want to call me bearing false witness. You can call Basim up. You can call LaRon Campbell up. They will tell you, I did not send them to do anything. I did not even know this was happening. It was short notice. Basim called me up. They're going to do a Google Hangout in like the next 40 minutes or something. Are you available, Josh? No, I am not. But just tell them I'll be willing to dialogue with them, provided it's on a neutral platform. The end. Next morning, my name up on YouTube in the video blasted me. Still didn't do nothing. Y'all saw how much time went by before I came out with my video. Then I go on. I'm getting text messages from my people. Jonathan Owens calling you out on Facebook. Right? Now, they doing all that to me, Sal. They doing all that to me, Antwan. But I respond with a video, and what does Garfield Reed does? Because those are his bosom buddies, because that's who he rolled with, maybe not officially anymore, because he just said he left Team Osiris. That's news to me. But those are still his social media buddies. Because he roll and hang and bang with them, right? He going to make it seem like I'm bad for responding to a video, the information in the video aimed at me. It was done against me in a video, but I respond in the video and I'm bad. No, what they want me to do, they want to put me on blast in the video, have my name all out there dragging through the mud, and then I come on their platform at an even greater disadvantage where they controlling the mute button, they controlling who come on, who get off, they controlling all the variables, and that's how they want me to respond. No, I'm not doing it like that. Garfield Reed is mad because he knows that I put the Honor Rock Squad out there in a way that the social media community and everybody in the country community can see you can't refute this evidence, and good, he's next. And I already said it. He get put on blast next because he's a snake. I don't like people who lack integrity. I don't like people who try to act like they care and they genuine and they know they dealing dirty. That brother knows he's dealing dirty. He knows he's never told Sal directly what he believes. Every time I ask him about something, he's very vague. He said he follows the principles of Ma'at. That's fine. That's tangible. But that's Kemet. But then when you start going in on Kemet, he say, well, I don't represent Kemet. You don't represent Kemet, but you adhere to their highest principles of virtue and law? Like I said, that would be like me saying I don't believe in the Bible, but I adhere to the Ten Commandments as outlined in the Bible. Not some other group of Ten Commandments I just made up for me. I'm talking about the ones as outlined in the Bible. You can't pick and choose what you like about a culture and then want to disregard everything else that you don't like. So that's what he tries to do. This is a little game. He'll say, I adhere to the laws of my eye. And then when you start showing them other stuff that Kemet say, he's like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I just adhere to the laws of my eye. So what he does is he picks all the good from a specific belief system of Pan-Africanism. He'll pick a little good from here and ignore all the earth. And he'll pick a little bit there and ignore all the dirt. And pick a little bit there and ignore all the dirt. But then when it comes to the Bible, he wants to hold me accountable for everything in it. No, we're not going to play that kind of game. If you represent Kemet, you represent Kemet. If you don't, you don't. But you ain't finna tell me you adhere to the principles of my eye, but you ain't got nothing to do with the god Osiris being a homosexual. You ain't got nothing to do with Horus being a homosexual. You ain't got nothing to do with Set being a homosexual. That ain't got nothing to do with you. All you know is that you represent the principles of my eye. That's why I said he's very vague. This guy is like a person that you're dealing with where you're running in a maze, and every time you find a way out the maze, he makes the maze rotate and shift around, so even when you're finding your way out, you're in again. This is the type of business it is. Don't just put it out on the table and say, this is what I'm all about. He wants to put a little bit out here and then be like, oh, well, what about this other stuff? No, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all heard him say it. He said, I represent all of Africa. I say this about Africa. And notice that he said Africa. He want to play with Greek words. That wasn't the original name of that land. Why are you saying Africa? So, sisters and brothers, I hate that this show went in the other direction. I think LaVar may be a little disgruntled about it, and he should be. But, LaVar, he's tough skin. He'll be all right. All I'm saying is the brother said out his own mouth that he didn't hear anything Antwan and LaVar said. All he heard me say was stuff about the conscious community. Now, Antwan, are you still there? Can you still hear?
Oh, yeah.
Now, all thing I said about the country community was stuff concerning 325 AD and how they be lying about that and how the black Hebrews lie about that too. I didn't get off into anything else. I just talked about 325 AD.
Which is crazy because I think he was saying something about he agreed with that.
He did.
And
that's all I said.
Yeah. And if he would have heard the whole lesson from the beginning of the show, he would see how we define the term Christian. LaVar went into detail about how we define the term. It just means follower of Christ. You know what I'm saying? And then we showed throughout history, we read from encyclopedias showing the persecution of the Christians prior to Constantine, before he legalized it and everything like that. So he's asking, can you show me something before that? Well, we read history where they was getting persecuted before 325 AD. So, what are you talking about? I don't, because he was asking for that term. Yeah, he's trying to play on it. Yeah, I know. I heard that too. And then they're gonna say there were Christians that's another thing they do too. Remember how he said these were Christians over in the Asian area over by Turkey. These were the Christians and they worship sun god, which Garfield, yes, Christians today do worship the sun god. They might not do it intentionally, but a lot of that stuff that they was doing way back then, because it was they had that Mithraism or religion where they, sun worshiping, which basically the whole world was, including Constantine. They worship the sun, and that's how a lot of that stuff got fused in together. They worship on the first day of the week, the day of the sun, and that's what was going on during that time. So you saying that they had Christians that were doing this, that, and other. Okay, what? I mean, but that doesn't change anything. You can't disregard the term or whatever. So it's just
here's another thing too. Here's another thing too, Antwan, regarding that. He said they had Christians over in Turkey doing something completely different, right? My question to him is, have you ever looked up those people and seen why they were called Christians? He just said when he referred to Christus, C-H-R-I-T-U, as Christians, when I think Tacitus or somebody else said that plenty Pliny the Younger. Well,
Pliny the Younger,
who
Pliny
were
the
they?
Younger, yeah.
Pliny the Younger. Right. Here's my question. Why don't you take us into the, if they're playing on, this ain't talking about no description he gives of Christus, and see if it fits the description of people that believe in Jesus Christ. We're not saying they had everything perfect or that they weren't involved in other kinds of with it. What we're saying is, when he mentioned them, he was talking about the people who believe what was written in what we call the New Testament today. So he keeps saying he wasn't talking about them. Who is he talking about? Who are these people professing? Unless they were professing a Christus that's completely foreign and removed from what we're talking about in the New Testament, then that is a lie. See, that's the type of, he want to play some mythical games and stuff, and then he want to accuse you of doing that. When Pliny talked about Christus, don't make it seem like he's talking about a guy named Christus or some group of people who ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. Show us who he had in mind. Take us to that letter of Pliny or Pliny the Younger. Take us to that and read who he describes. He don't want to do that. And see, what this brother keep wanting to do, he want to try to perpetrate the image that I'm afraid of him. Sal is behind the scenes. I'm behind the scenes. Garfield anything concerning Kemet. I adhere to Kemet. Yes, you do. You said you follow Ma'at. Ma'at represents truth and justice. That is an Egyptian goddess. That means you are adhering to a belief system instituted by a goddess. But then when I try to investigate that belief system in its totality, you want to say you don't subscribe to it. So you cherry picking. That's what you're doing. Whether you realize it or not, that is a logical fallacy. That is described as accepting certain things from a particular topic while denying others. That's called cherry picking. Stay the heck out of Kemet, period. Either accept everything Kemet say or accept none of it. I'm not talking about your personal beliefs. I'm not saying like you can't say to yourself, well, I like the principles of God, so I'm going to pattern my lifestyle after that. But, and I build off of that. I'm not saying you can't do that. But don't come out here and publicly tell me that you are subscribing to a certain culture and belief system, and that makes it okay because you personally hold some things in there of value, but when it comes to the Bible, you want to hold Christians and Hebrew Israelites accountable for every iota in it. Everything in it. Ain't nothing, that's your Bible. That's your Bible. Oh, explain it. Explain that. But when I take you to Kemet, anything outside the principles of Ma'at that he finds uncomfortable, he want to be like, well, I don't ascribe to that. You can't do that, bro. That's why I don't want to debate you, because you want to try to play this rope-a-dope game. You want to play the game where you get to throw all the punches, but can't nobody throw no punches at you. You want to keep playing hopscotch. You want to keep jumping around the topic. You want to keep representing multiple views. You don't want to pick a lane and stay in it. All you want to do is jump from lane to lane as it's convenient. Oh, I represent Kemet. When you over there with the conscious community, I don't hear you pushing only the laws of Ma'at. You don't be like, Ma'at, you all deep on Egypt. You joined the team, named Team Osiris. Now you don't left. I don't know why you left. Don't care. You want to play all these little games. You know what I'm saying? Now you're Garfield Reed. I subscribe to the principles of Ma'at, but also all the Africa. And I guarantee you, anything you subscribe to in Africa, if I find something in that culture that's promoting homosexuality, bestiality, voodoo, sorcery, you're going to say, well, I don't have anything to do with that. All you're doing is taking a little here and a little, and you're going to form this where you just take the good, what you like, and then focus on that. And then if somebody says, well, brother, I know that you got this from the Tahuti tribe or the Watusi tribe. Y'all supposed to believe this, that, and that. He going to jump up and say, I just subscribe to this part of it. So that makes him unbeatable, sisters and brothers, but unfairly unbeatable. And he thinks that he's going to sucker me into a debate where every time I point something in a culture that he's just going to turn around and say, I ain't got nothing to do with that, and think that means he beat. And you can't do that, can you? That's why when I started talking about Osiris being a homosexual, according to the Egyptians, when we was on Basim's show, you know that brother, those were just concepts. He said Egyptians, he just said, those were just concepts. That's right, Antwan. Let's put a temple to a. Let's say not somebody we actually live and believe in that can do something. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. I'm getting tired of these brothers trying to make it seem like that they're all, that everybody else. Y'all see what I'm going to do. That was no diplomat. Them brothers are brutal. That's
yeah.
It's like white.
Sal.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Sal, you hear me? Yeah, you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, Josh was breaking up a little bit. Yeah. I said Josh was just breaking up a little bit, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, all of them, I would say, all of them are guilty of the fallacy of, like you say, cherry, or it's like suppressing evidence or withholding evidence, not telling the whole story, cherry picking, as you said. They are all, you know, they're guilty of it. Like, we take everything with it. That's why, you know, we call it absolute Bible truth. We believe this is the word, the true word of God. We believe it is the truth. And we take it all, Genesis to Revelation, you know, and no apologies about it. You know, we are ready to defend ours, and we have to be, because it's always on constant attack. But what they do is they suppress evidence from the people. Now, granted, we go look into this stuff, and then we ask them about it, and then they go to something else, and they go to something else, and they just keep going around. But so I know the show's getting late. Can you just keep, since LaVar's gone? I know LaVar had to go. You know, he had to. I know he probably wanted to get out a few more things before he was done, but I know he got to get up early to go to work in the morning. But I know we got kind of a little sidetracked. But just keep Josh on, and we just take the last remaining callers or whatever, and we can go and close it out after we clear the line.
Yeah, not a problem. Actually, Josh's call dropped again. Josh, we get a chance to call back in. Again, title of the show, The Fables of the Council of Nicaea Exposed. The number is 319-527-6239. Of course, we had a lot of people standing by. Of course, we can't get to everyone. We have like about 21 minutes on the air, and we're going to get to some of your questions. But, you know, Josh, you out there, you want to call back in, press number 1. We'll add you in the conversation. I see somebody calling from Skype. I think it's a Skype caller. You're live on air. Yeah, you're live on air. Can you hear me? Skype caller? Hello? Are you there? Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to have to move on. Let's go to 504-485. You're live on air.
Yeah, how everybody doing on the panel? Good show tonight. My question is, I'm right with you guys as far as you know, a lot of the fallacies being put forth about Yeshua. The only thing I disagree with you brothers on is the name Jesus, but you know, that's, you know, for another day, another time. But my question to you brothers is,
what's your go ahead.
I've heard the brother Ray Nagin speak on Arian, and he puts a totally kind of different slant on it. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. If so, could you comment on that, and what do you find to be erroneous about it? Because I feel it's totally fallacy what he's saying. But if you guys are familiar with that, have you seen that? Right, because he has a video out, and he speaks about Arian, and he kind of pits it as a black versus white thing. So, you know, if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, I'm quite sure you can't speak on it, but, you know, I was just...
No, I haven't exactly heard, you know, as far as what Ray Hagen's belief in it. What exactly does he say? Or, I mean, if you could just, like, sum it up.
Well,
his stance on Arius.
Basically, he was speaking of Arian as... He was kind of putting it into a perspective where it's this African guy, which he was from Alexandria, which is true, but he was trying to say as like one black guy pitted against Christianity. And, you know, he's trying to stop it and trying to stop the worship of Yeshua HaMashiach as, you know, the true word of the Most High. And, you know, it's just like a lot of, kind of like what you guys were speaking of earlier, how they try to mishmash a lot of stuff, you know, within their ideology. And, you know, as we all could see from all the different platforms that they're on, how it just falls on itself. But, you know, it was definitely a good show. Y'all did a good job, man.
Yeah, praise the Most High, and yeah, as far as every source that, and like we read it tonight, the sources that are, when it pertains to Arius, it all said the same thing. He had a different view, and it wasn't just him, because we read this also, that he had a following that believed in the Messiah, that believed in Yeshua HaMashiach, right? He was a believer in Yeshua, right? But his thing was that he didn't believe that his divinity, or that he was on the same level as the Father, and he believed that he was created, and he was also separate from the Holy Spirit and being above that. That Yeshua was above the Holy Spirit, but below the Father. But his view is just different from the other ones, because the other side of the view, they were Trinitarians essentially.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
they had it all together. But that was all it was. But Arius was not alone. He was not alone.
Right,
in fact, there were some of the people that came from Europe who supported him. After the fact, they all came to one conclusion. But even after Arius, after they said this is what we're gonna rock with, people still was following Arius. And even after it was declared a heresy in 381, people were still doing it. I mean, it didn't change. Like, people were still practicing Arianism. So yeah, right on with Reagan, and then they still believe. I mean, he still was a Christian. You know what I'm saying? It's in terms of a follower of Christ. Like, he still was. Like, I don't understand what Ray Hagan's point was with that.
Right. And just real quick, my brother. There's the your typical excuses or whatever you want to call them for why they say Yeshua is not the HaMashiach. Besides the Council of Nicea, and besides the whole how they try to explain away the virgin birth and things like that, there are some people in the community that I highly respect, just as much as I respect the brothers at ABT. Like I said, we have disagreements, but I highly respect you brothers. And there's other brothers that are, I guess, quote-unquote, messianic, that don't believe in the virgin birth. And I never really heard too many other reasons why, and I just can't see this brother being the one to use that virgin birth concept. So I'm just trying to see, are there any other reasons why they try to say Yeshua is not the HaMashiach? If you can kind of just say that, if there's
not necessarily from what I've heard. Josh may have heard something from somebody else, but what from just from my knowledge, I know that they like to say, just like they say a lot of things. They said that they got Yeshua, they created Yeshua at that point in 325, and they say they used the virgin birth. They got this concept from Egypt, which of course you can't read that anywhere. That was the case.
Right.
From those, they say, he came from Horus. Horus was born of a virgin, had 12 disciples. You can't read any of that stuff about Horus. That's pre that or anything that's by any of those other gods where they say they got it from, or the other deities they got the story for Yahshua from. You can't read any of that stuff about those people anywhere in history. So yeah, as far as why they do it, man, I know a lot of those groups, a lot of those camps are just carnal, and they just can't wrap their minds around it. They could believe that God spoke everything into existence, but they can't believe in the virgin birth. I don't understand it myself personally. To me, that's not like a tough pill to swallow. But I have heard that. I've heard the claims that they say, that's when they can't, because they talk about the virgin birth on this show all the time, and I heard they say that's that Council of Nicaea stuff. I think I heard Zion Lex say that virgin birth stuff come from ancient Kemet. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You can't read that anywhere in ancient Kemet. That's not what that is.
Yeah,
but at all, and when you, I have no idea, brother. To be honest with you, man, I really don't.
All right, well, all right, man. Thanks for your time, but like I said, man, y'all brothers did a good job. Y'all do a good job, and we still got the MIA on Unc, man. We just trying to find them, bro. So y'all be blessed.
Yeah. All right, man. You too, brother, man. Take care.
All right. Once again, it's Debate Talk for you. Let's go to another Skype caller. Skype caller, you there? You live on the air, Skype caller?
What's happening, Black Jesus Minister?
What's going on, brother?
Phil, look here, man. Y'all definitely need to find Unc, that little punk monkey Unc, and the Raw Fraud Squad. Ain't nobody over there got no scholarship. always talking about scholarship this and scholarship that. I believe probably none of them have a high school diploma, so y'all stomp them clowns whenever y'all catch up with them. Stay on top of them. Don't let them squirm around and run away and hide. Stay on top of them fools and stay on top of Make that debate happen. I would love to see Josh squash that nigga fool All right? Now,
keep it clean, man. Keep it clean.
All right, I'm sorry about that. Let me say this to everybody, and this is what I've been trying to teach the Hebrews and the Comedics ever since I've been on social media and teaching. The Comedics reject Christ and the Bible, but the Hebrews reject being African and rejecting that Christianity's roots did come from Egypt. Now, until both sides admit to the truth of the lie that both sides are holding on to, all of this ridiculous, retarded, ignorant fighting and arguing and debating and debates every time you turn around is foolishness. Because none of y'all won't sit up here and come to the middle and admit your errors, your errors. The Hebrew Israelite error is self-hatred of your African identity and admitting that the original Hebrew Israelites were not just black, they were Canaanite. And the Kemetic, and as long as you all sit around here, the Hebrew Israelites, talking about always talking about the arid ways of Egypt as being the pinnacle and as being what Egypt was all about. The Hebrew Israelites and the Canaanites wasn't always with God, and the Hebrew Israelites wasn't always with God. They were in idolism too, and they got whoopings and was put in slavery over and over and over too. So when they were in error, they were in error. And there was a time that Egypt was right, and then Egypt was in error. So don't sit up here and act like Egypt was in error all the time, because if you don't know that, that's ignorance. Now, let's follow and obey what the Word of God says. And this Word of God in Isaiah 19:25 settles the whole matter. But I would, if brother Sal give me time to do a show, I'll break this down for all y'all, so all of this doofusness will be over with, because the Word settles it. Isaiah 19:25 says, everybody, please go to your Bible, go to your King James Bible, and read Isaiah 19. Read that whole chapter. But this is what God says out of his own mouth at Isaiah 19:25. I'll start at 24.
Yeah, I apologize, man. You got like 10 minutes left, and I'm going to bring you on. I'm going to bring you on to bring that lesson, though. But Antwan, you want to say anything? Because we got to go to the next call. We got like 10 minutes left. Right.
No, so you go on to the next caller.
All right, let's go to 313-784. Live in air.
Peace, everybody. I had a question. Like I said, as far as the Kemet thing, you know what I'm saying, I was, caught up into that at one time. But like I said, we have to understand that the Tanakh is, giving you a word for word, direct understanding of the condition that we find ourselves on the four corners of the earth. So I haven't, come across any tablets or any scripts from Kemet or Samaria, Mesopotamia, these places with such a what you call, I guess, a vivid prophecy on the people in the four corners. But I would want to ask the question about the people that are messianic, or that believe in the Messiah was that man that came 2,000 years ago. When we say followers of Christ, how does that differ, or when does it differ? Just clearing up my ignorance on the situation. How and why does that differ from somebody just trying to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments that Yah said would get us out if we turn our hearts away onto His word and follow His ways? How does this Messiah that came 2,000 years ago that's in the ground? How where does he where is the change of following Him versus following Yah? Like, why is it so wrong to just be following the statutes, laws, and commandments and living my life according to that, versus this man. I'm hearing what y'all saying, but I'm not understanding. My understanding is not enough.
Hello?